You can even get your fish and game licenses, rod and reel repair, line spooling, and pre-tied leaders. Check out Dan's Outdoors, 2787 Olympic Street, Suite 6, from 9 to 6 weekdays, 9 to 4 on Saturday, and on Facebook, Dan's with a Z.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stock index futures are little changed to slightly lower as investors assess corporate earnings and the chances of a Donald Trump presidency. S&P futures are down 3 points, NASDAQ futures down 2, Dow futures are down 41. Shares of Time Warner are higher in pre-market trading after the owner of HBO and Turner Cable Networks beat estimates in the third quarter. Allergan has paired earlier gains to trade little change this morning as it expanded a share buyback program and announced a dividend, even as it posted disappointing quarterly profit. Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve releases its latest monetary policy decision today, and U.S. investors are assessing the latest economic data. ADP said today that private companies added 147,000 workers in October. That was less than the forecast of 165,000 and comes 2 days before Friday's jobs report from the government. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is my profound pleasure to introduce
The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Bev Harris is the woman behind the website blackboxvoting.org. It's a nonpartisan investigative website that reports and educates information in and behind elections. Blackboxvoting.org is the site if you want to read along as we chat with Bev and welcome her to the Wake Up Call for the first time. Bev, great to have you on the show. You there?
Well, thanks for having me.
Okay, you're up in the Washington area, correct?
Yep, I am. It's I'm up just north of you guys, I think.
Yeah. So you've had the website around since 2003. What was the seedling thought that prompted the creation?
Well, in the very, very early days, I was just basically looking at the accounting functions of electronic voting systems because I had written before. I've been a writer for many years, and I had written quite a bit about accounting and also about embezzlement techniques and so forth. And so I got curious as to whether you could embezzle votes. And so I started looking at the accounting of how things work with computerized voting. And while doing that, I also started tracing the corporate ownership and so forth, and immediately found significant conflicts of interest in the corporate ownership of them. And then when I was trying to locate some programmers to tell me about the accounting functions, I ended up kind of accidentally stumbling on a hidden FTP site, which is like a site that stores files on the Internet. And it contained what I would have, characterized as the crown jewels. It had all of the programs themselves as well as a bunch of elections, with the actual vote databases. So I no longer had to rely on an interview of a programmer. I could actually just jump in and look at the programs myself and found very significant problems.
Okay, so I'm just curious, how did you stumble across the FTP site? Was that based on somebody's tip, or was it one of those fortuitous things?
No. I'll tell you, I was trying to find names of programmers to interview because, how do you find them? Well, and so I found the email suffix for each of the different companies, and I just started doing a search for every single thing anywhere which had that email suffix, basically looking for programmer names. Mm-hmm. And as I was collecting them, there was actually an FTP server that had a similar name to the email suffix, and so I actually didn't know what it was. I thought, well, wasn't even that knowledgeable about computer stuff. And so, well, what is an FTP? And I went in, and it didn't require any username or password. It just let you sign in anonymously. And it was just stunning. I mean, it took me literally 40 hours to download all the stuff so that I could begin looking at it.
And was it from a particular company, like, say, a Diebold or something like that? Or Was it more?
Yeah. It was.
Hello.
Yeah, it was from Diebold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
I think there's a little delay.
Diebold,
It's kind of throwing us off.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, the all of the files were from a company called Diebold. And it had a predecessor. Diebold purchased a Canadian company, and a lot of it, the actual server was located in Canada, and it was all those Canadian guys' server. And actually, they are very problematic, and they are still involved, even though Diebold sold off its unit to to a couple other voting companies. Those Canadian guys, same guys that were doing the dodgy programming way back when, are still doing it for these new companies. There was a contract in the acquisition that said whoever acquires this has to continue to employ these programmers. So they apparently have some very special skills, eh?
So what when you say dodgy, what do you mean by that?
Okay, dodgy. Here's one dodgy thing that I found very early on. Again, I came at this from an accounting background in terms of looking at how money is supposed to be handled and how it's supposed to be documented. One thing you're never supposed to have in accounting is a double set of books. A double set of books would mean you have one accounting system that's real and one that's fake, okay? So that if anybody looks, you show them the fake set of books. Well, one of the first things I found, and this is back in 2003, was that they had embedded a double set of books into the vote counting so that you could, if you are, for example, you have a spot check or an audit, you can go to one set of books, one set of vote totals, and if you just want to report it and nobody's looking too closely, you can go to a different set. I mean, that's just completely not acceptable.
Well, okay.
It's a violation. If it was accounting, it would be a violation of GAAP standards.
Right. But, okay, so when you found these double sets of books, were they for particular states or were they just for the system itself?
It was embedded in the system itself and used in every state. And at that time, and still today, the system is used in 25 states. Currently, it's being used in 616 jurisdictions in 25 states.
Used in Oregon?
Actually, no. It's not used in Oregon at this time.
Okay, so of the states that it's used in, how many of them are swing states?
Oh, yeah. Well, this is really bothering me because there's only 4 states where, elections and equipment are done county by county, so it's not, generally it's not a statewide thing, and they're sprinkled here and there. But there are actually 4 states in the U.S. that use this system statewide. And I've been watching, and those 4 states, they are kind of telegraphing on the news to maybe expect an upset in 3 of those 4 states. Those states are Georgia, Utah, and Alaska, with the 4th one being Mississippi. And it's very interesting to me that they're saying, well, there may be a trend reversal in Oregon, Georgia, Utah, and Alaska. Because I happen to know that literally in those states, because of their procedures and because of the way they've got the administration structured and because of the program, one person can literally control the outcome, and it will be very, very plausible looking and very difficult to detect.
Talk about, if you would, by the way, Bev with blackboxvoting.org on with the wake-up call. I think people think about, the Bush-Gore election, and they think about the state of Florida with what happened. Right. It was just a huge debacle. Right. You have kind of a reporting of Alaska. People maybe not familiar with what happened up there.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's been odd things happen in every state. I mean, Florida in the Bush-Gore, some of their worst problems happened on exactly this system, by the way. It's called the GEM system, and it's now run by many different manufacturers. But at that time in Florida, during that race, remember in the middle of the night they called the race for Bush, and then they all said, oh, never mind, it was actually not, it was too close to call. The reason they called it for Bush is because minus 16,000 votes were loaded into the system, in the GEMS system, negative 16,000 votes, which was the number that was needed to call the election. And that was discovered, and they retracted the minus 16,000 and then pulled the call. In Alaska in 2004, there was just a really unusual race, and the Democratic Party took them to court and filed a contest and eventually got a copy of the database and passed that to me. And one of the very troubling things about that is they had to fight in court for 2 years to get this database of the votes. When they finally got it, it was 2006, and shortly before it was released to the Democratic Party, about a month before, you can tell from the audit log that someone went in and changed the information in the database in a significant way, redefining races and so forth, which, if it's a vote database for 2004 and you get it in court, it should not have information from 2006 in it. It's a little difficult sometimes to know what exactly was changed because the nature of these systems is that they overwrite the original information.
Why the name black box? Explain that.
Mm-hmm. A black box system is typically a system that people are not really allowed to look inside. It's a non-transparent system. And my whole issue with these is that they are not transparent to the public. So in other words, it spits out some numbers, and we are just told to accept those numbers on face value. And instead of saying we're going to let the public see what's going on and confirm for themselves whether the results we've just reported are true. Originally, the way this country was set up, the public could see whether the stated count was true or false. They could see the ballots themselves. And what these machines have done is they've pulled the entire system out of view of the public and also out of view of the election officials themselves. One thing that's very unfair is the election officials are required to buy the systems. They can't really run an election without them, and yet they have no clue what is going on in those machines. None. And so they're just sort of forced to try to tell the public everything's going to be okay and look at my test over here, but they actually are forced to sign off and certify under penalty of perjury results that even they can't authenticate.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit. When you were looking at the FTP site, you found that the way these things are set up ostensibly has, two sets of books. How come, here you are, you get plenty of hits on your website. How come that this hasn't really gained any more traction? How come that, various secretaries of state or attorney generals or the Department of Justice or, go down the list, haven't been all over this?
Well, to some extent they have, but it tends to get blocked. For example, in California, I filed a consumer lawsuit based on false claims, and ultimately the Attorney General took up the case and ultimately got a $2.6 million settlement for the state of California from Diebold. But they also then quashed it from going any further. The Computer Emergency Response Team, or whatever it is, it's called CERT, they issued a warning on these systems. But essentially nothing was actually done. Nothing has been done to fix any of the issues that we've seen. And after years in the trenches, I guess I would have to say my conclusion is they want it this way. Somebody or some collection of people want to be able to control the outcome if they feel it's necessary. If they feel it's necessary. In other words, if it's not going their way. Right, and by somebody or a collection of persons. I'm not really necessarily talking about some big national thing. The problems with the systems and the way that they were designed and the kinds of guys that were out in the field administering them lead me to believe that these things were designed to be corrupt, to be open for business. They were designed that way, and that was for local reasons. You know, there's one presidential election every 4 years, but there are 100,000 local elections every single year. And those elections control hundreds of billions of dollars in contract signing and authorizations. You know, somebody wants to build a stadium, they have a development thing here, there's some water rights here. It's money. And so I think there's an infrastructure that's in place to affect some of these high-ticket local things. So it's not, and it's got a bunch of little contract jobbers and just weird people that actually get in and get their fingers on this data. Some of them have criminal records, and that whole side of the industry is very little reported. But typically, an election official really doesn't have the technical chops to run their system, and so they job it out to somebody. Sometimes they go to the ballot printer, who then has a subcontractor who comes in. So there's this network of people who actually get their hands on the data that don't work for the government and actually aren't even all on the books necessarily, because they're sometimes a subcontractor of a contractor. And these are the ones that concern me, because they actually have the ability, using the features in the system, to have complete control and to actually sell elections, not just sell their services, but sell elections themselves. That could be a very lucrative business. And in fact, we found one fellow in Arizona who was designated as a subcontractor by the counties, and he actually did the programming for 11 of the 15 counties, and he just works out of his home, been doing it for 20 years. He may be perfectly honest, but nobody even knew this guy existed, and nobody knows what he does.
So, since you have, kind of, I guess you would say, outed this particular story, are you still able, just on your own, to get into this FTP site or various other sites and wander around in there and do what you...
Oh, no. No. And I don't try. I mean, I'm sure, because I'm not any sort of hacker or anything. The only reason I found that was I just was able to walk in the front door, basically, by accident. So, no, I don't do that kind of thing. And I really, at this point, having spent a lot of time on this issue, there are some new things that have happened that give us real solutions that are already available to us if they would let us use them.
Like what?
And don't cost any money and would solve it. Yeah, this is really exciting. The new take pictures of every ballot as they scan them. They can scan 23,000 ballots, an hour or a minute. I mean, it's crazy amount of speed. And they can take a picture of every ballot, and that is called a ballot image, and then that is stored on as an electronic file. Now, one county in California was really ahead of their time, and they just put the images on the web so everybody could look at all the ballot images, and anybody could do their own recount if they wanted. In fact, it saved them a lot of money from candidates, filing frivolous lawsuits and stuff, because the candidates would go look at the ballot images and go, oh, I guess I really did lose, But these ballot images could be released immediately. They could be put on the web. And the second part is, yes, with some complexity, you could alter the ballot images. They're an electronic file. But if you have a serial number on each one, I'm not talking about something that identifies the voter. I'm just talking about each one has a unique number on it. And you also make sure that the public has a right under Freedom of Information law to come in and inspect the actual ballots. So they can match up the serial number with their ballot image one and make sure the real ballot is the same thing if they want to spot check it. Those two things would cost us virtually nothing, are already available in the technology. The machines already do it. And it would really solve the problem. And what they call that in modern lingo is crowdsourcing. In other words, you don't hire some audit team to come in and then report officially to the public. Everything is fine, nothing to see here, move along. You just let everybody see the actual evidence.
I'm just, have you, after you discovered what you discovered, did you ever feel like that anyone was watching you, or that, there were weird things going on, or you felt uncomfortable? Because really, what you're really doing here,
Yeah.
I mean, is you walked in the front door of some nefarious stuff, and you pointed it out. And folks that are in power that don't want their nefarious stuff outed would have a problem with that.
Yeah, right after I found it and publicized it, some years ago, I did have a lot of weird things happen. I haven't really written publicly about them. I may someday. More concerning, and as I say, a lot of this is local and regional when it actually is done, when something actually goes down and they use these features. I had in New Hampshire a very uncomfortable situation, where my hotel room was broken into and a number of things. It was very bad. And in Memphis, when I was investigating one of the elections there, we were actually followed, and it was, won't go into all the details, but it was a very bad situation. We actually got on the phone with an FBI agent, and he kind of got on his GPS and guided us, and we spent the night in the airport so we'd be on federal territory. It's these local pockets of corruption that are the scary ones. I mean, because sometimes the local infrastructure of corruption is driven by drug trade and things. I mean, there's some bad things that can actually, elections don't happen just so somebody can feel happy and popular and get into office. Elections, there's an infrastructure that puts local elections in power. There's a reason that somebody would want to control that outcome. Sometimes it's money, like a developer. Sometimes it's to protect a criminal enterprise. And I'm not being a conspiracy theorist except in the RICO sense, racketeering. If you simply read indictments, you see that this is true. I mean, there was a situation in Texas, Crystal City, Texas. Every single member of the city council was indicted. In Bell, California, which is another city, all the city council and the mayor, and they were also indicted for election fraud, and they were doing election fraud to protect their little criminal enterprise. So this stuff is real, and it's been sort of taboo to talk about. The press seems to think that we need to give everybody confidence. Well, it's not about confidence. It's about evidence. We need to be able to see it, and if we can see it, then we can be confident.
Boy, as your website gets more traction, and we're talking about your work showing up on the New York Times, the Philippine Daily Inquirer, I mean, you're starting to get worldwide recognition. As more people find it out, what is your feedback? What is the inbox like on a daily basis? What kind of whistleblowing and feedback are you getting?
Yeah, and unfortunately, this election cycle, I can't even get to my email. I mean, it's just overwhelming. So, I mean, I tell reporters like you guys and stuff. I just say you just need to text me, and I hope I can get to it because it's so crazy. But it's been very uplifting because the truth is it's not just me anymore. There's wonderful citizens all over the country. For example, in Arizona, there's a guy down there. He went in, he asked for the ballot images, these photographs of ballots, and they said, guess what? Oh, we destroy them every day, which makes no sense. They're a key audit record. And so he went to a judge, got a temporary restraining order so they can't destroy them for this coming election. Then they tried to adjust their system to disable the feature, which tells you a lot.
Yeah.
And then that work that he's done has fanned out all over the country. There are people all over the country now, we don't even know who they all are, who are walking in there with USB sticks saying, I would like the ballot images, please. I think it's really uplifting because you see people taking action, which is the only way we're going to actually solve this.
Blackboxvoting.org. We know you got a busy day. If you don't mind, we'll keep your information and definitely have you back.
Absolutely. Very good. And yes, I do. I've got a kabillion things to do, and I'm also going to be traveling. So appreciate having me on the show.
Absolutely. We'll do it again. Blackboxvoting.org. Again, that's Bev Harris. On the wake-up call, we got a break.
My dad was my high school wrestling coach, and he told me you never give up, no matter what the score. That's how I approach the tough fights in Congress.
Most people in Congress talk a good game, but don't get things done. Not Peter DeFazio. He delivers. Every day he gets up and fights for Oregon workers and their families.
I'm fighting big corporations who want tax breaks while they ship jobs overseas. I voted against NAFTA and every unfair trade agreement under Clinton, Bush, and Obama. And I've pushed for Buy American legislation to require the federal government to purchase products made in the U.S.
Peter DeFazio, a top wrestler in high school. He's a fighter, taking on big corporations that care more about profits than people, and Wall Street bankers who crashed our economy. Peter DeFazio is in our corner, fighting to hold them all accountable.
I'm Peter DeFazio, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message because if my wrestling opponents couldn't pin me, corporate America's not going to have any better luck.
Paid for by DeFazio for Congress.
Quarterback pumps. Now throws complete. Receivers inside the 20. Headed for the end zone. That's a touchdown, Oregon.
Precision counts, whether it's a big game on the line or, more importantly, your quality of life.
I used to refer to the excruciating pain in my cheek and jaw as crunch time. Turns out it's called trigeminal neuralgia, a condition caused by a nerve in my brain. I lived in fear of the next episode until my doctor recommended Sacred Heart Gamma Knife Center.
With the precision of a Heisman quarterback, the center's specialized physicians targeted the nerve with highly focused radiation beams. No knives or incisions were needed, which preserved healthy tissue. Mary returned home the same day, and it was game over for her pain in just a few weeks.
It's a whole new ballgame for me, with cheers instead of fears.
If you have a brain tumor or episodes of severe facial pain, ask your primary doctor or specialist if the Gamma Knife could be right for you. Visit our website at peacehealth.org/Gamma Knife to learn more.
An important message from Medicare.
I found a better deal on prescriptions.
I found a new plan with lower costs.
It's Medicare Open Enrollment. Have you compared plans yet? Who knows what you might find?
Check out your options at Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
You never know unless you go.
Medicare Open Enrollment, October 15th through December 7th. Brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services.
In my line of work, I'm trying to make a difference. Not $1 billion, but I want to save for the future, too. So this year, I partnered with TIAA to help me map out a plan. If I stick to it, I could have an income stream for life and maintain my lifestyle in retirement. Looks like a life of rewarding work could pay off for a lifetime.
Your personal success takes a financial partner who values it as much as you do. Learn more at TIAA.org.
It is no conspiracy. The box that I'm voting for is the Tempur-Pedic that is hanging out right now with two delirious dogs in my bedroom. Mattress price wars, it's going on right now, and whatever they call it, if you're saving big bucks, just go in there for the test lay and see what you could have in your bedroom tonight. It is amazing to me how you go to some folks' house. I'm thinking about one individual who spends so much money on his man cave that's outside. It's part of the grilling section of the backyard, and then you go into other parts of the house, and like the guest house or the guest room, he's got a mattress that is probably, I would say, 25 years old. I know, because I've slept on it before. Maybe if it's not for you, it's for give the gift of comfort for those that are going to be visiting during the holidays. With the money that you're saving, you can afford to do just that. Get a heck of a Tempur-Pedic, or how about Beauty Rest, Posturepedic? Where are you headed? Hopefully the Sleep Train to take a test lay so that you can maybe, if it's not your comfort, provide comfort for somebody very, very soon.
Head on in as Sleep Train. You're going to find them in Corvallis, Albany, Eugene, and Springfield. And when you get there, tell them Bill and Rob from the Wake Up Call sent you.
Cold weather is coming. Are you prepared? Ductless heat pumps can save you up to 50% on your heating costs. This is Rick Gregg from the Heat Pump Store in Eugene. Let me and my local team of ductless heating experts save you money, keep you comfortable, and get you the most utility rebates and tax credits available. Call 541-632-3357. That's 632-3357. Or visit theheatpumpstore.com.
They got me pump, the Heat Pump Store.
CCB 177-229.
The Veterinary Hospital is Eugene, Oregon's premier pet hospital. Open 7 days a week, our fully licensed and AHA-accredited team offer the latest in therapeutic laser technology to promote healing and pain management for your pet. The Veterinary Hospital. We care about pets and their people, too.
When you need painting, you want the best. Fitzpatrick Painting. Don't settle for less.
Specializing in house repaints, interior and exterior, and commercial buildings, Fitzpatrick Painting also provides a full line of carpentry services and so much more. Experience the difference. Find them at fitzpatrickpainting.com for your free estimate and more information.
Fitzpatrick Painting. Unsurpassed in customer service and quality.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are slipping, putting the S&P 500 on track for its longest slump in 5 years. Investors are bracing for a week of events that could set the tone on equity markets for the rest of the year. Right now, the Dow is lower by 35 points, or almost 0.2% at 17,998. The S&P 500 is down about 4 points, or about 0.2% at 2108. And the Nasdaq is lower by about 5 points here, or 0.1% at 5149. U.S. investors will look to the Fed's interest rate decision today and the statement for indications on the health of the world's biggest economy after data from ADP today showed companies added 147,000 workers in October. That signals slower progress than estimated in the labor market. Traders are pricing in just a 15% chance of a rate hike at this meeting. The odds on a December increase have slipped to 69% from about 73% last week. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Fox News, fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. They were like sitting ducks. 2 Iowa police officers ambushed in their patrol cars early this morning.
Heard like 7 or 8 gunshots.
The murders were just a few miles apart within minutes of each other. Fox's Jeff Manasso has more on the shootings and a manhunt live.
Dave, it began just after 1 a.m. in suburban Des Moines as police responded to shots fired.
The first officers to arrive on the scene found an Urbandale police officer still seated in his vehicle, and he'd been shot and killed. 20 minutes after that, one of our Des Moines officers found a Des Moines police officer seated in his vehicle. He'd also been shot.
Police Sergeant Paul Parisik, the fallen officer, is not yet ID'd, though the suspect has, with multiple agencies now on the hunt for 46-year-old Scott Michael Green, last known to be driving a blue 2011 Ford F-150, Iowa license plate 780YFR. He's described as armed and very dangerous. Dave?
Jeff, Memphis police keep searching for gunmen masked in bandanas who killed a teenage girl and wounded 5 others last night.
Basically, I just had about 16, 17 gunshots go off over at the park.
Donald Trump will rail against Obamacare again in Florida today, saying he'll replace and repeal it. Trump again tweeted this morning about Hillary Clinton being crooked over her email controversy. Last night, he reached out to those in Wisconsin who already voted for her.
Wisconsin is one of several states where you can change your early ballot if you think you've made a mistake.
President Obama says early voting is down this year among black Americans, and that could threaten Clinton's chances. Clinton was in Florida again attacking Trump over his treatment of women, saying she's sick and tired of his supporters' dark and divisive attitudes, and she hit him again over his taxes.
Took everything our great country has to offer. He scooped it up with both hands and then paid nothing to support us.
Clinton will campaign today in Nevada, then Arizona, as 3 national polls all put the race dead even. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Midgley's makes it easy to stay green with your next stove or fireplace insert. Blaze King features wood stoves that can burn up to 40 hours while effectively heating 1,500 to 3,000 square feet. Their reduction in emissions helps protect the environment. Midgley's is your exclusive Lane County Blaze King dealer. Check us out online at midgleys.com. We're at the corner of 7th and Chambers in Eugene. Midgley's. Anywhere else and you're just playing with fire. CCB 161946.
Oregon's game Megabucks jackpot is over $5 million. Buy yours today.
And now, Katy Perry.
Imagine going on stage with nothing and being expected to roar. It's the same with our teachers who are using their own money so students can learn. DonorsChoose.org helps teachers and students succeed.
Join Katy Perry at MakeRoarHappen.com.
News, information, 24/7 on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
/connect. ZipRecruiter.com/connect.
Well, they're waiting to hear from the Fed on Wall Street. Fox Business Network's Nicole Pedalides live at the New York Stock Exchange.
The Fed is certainly in focus for 2 p.m. today to see whether or not we hear anything about interest rate hikes. Not likely to see one today, but maybe in December. And we'll see what kind of language the Fed puts out today. The Dow right now down 16 points at 18,020. The Nasdaq down 3. S&P 500 down 2 for the week. All three are lower. Oil moving to the lowest level since September, less than $46 a barrel. Chevron, a big loser on the Dow. Also, Yelp is a winner. That's up 15% after better than expected numbers. We're seeing user growth at Alibaba. That's a winner. Kate Spade, Etsy, and GameStop all lower after quarterly reports. Back to you.
Thank you, Nicole. Mentioning oil, the price of gas has inched up this morning. AAA's national average for regular is back over $2.21 a gallon. President Obama says the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is looking into whether the pipeline that's been so protested in North Dakota can be rerouted to alleviate the concerns of American Indians who are worried about drinking water being threatened and sacred sites destroyed. This pipeline will stretch from North Dakota to Illinois. For a second day, people need to find different ways around Philadelphia. Buses are not running. There's no subway or trolley service as a transit worker strike continues. This frustrated commuter says,
seems a little heavy-handed. I mean, I understand that they need to, negotiate their contract and do what they need to do, but it seems like people trying to get in and out of the city should be able to do that.
More negotiations are expected today. The baseball season will end tonight. The Cubs forced to Game 7.
Fly ball to left center. At the wall. Grand slam.
Addison Russell hit that home run and drove in 6 in Chicago's 9-3 win on Fox.
It's every kid's dream. I mean, it all comes down to Game 7, and we're excited.
The championship game will be in Cleveland. They haven't won a championship there in 68 years. Been 108 years for the Cubs. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
Hey, good morning. Aloha. Cheers. Welcome in. It's a Wednesday, second day of November 2016. A week from today will be the start of something new. Today, morning clouds and afternoon clearing. 20% chance of rain, 68 for the top temp. Rain moving in tonight. Overnight dip down to 50, but short-lived. Clouds and sun tomorrow, 63 for the temperature high. 51 currently at 1120 KPNW. You can call it tough love. Trying to scare the kids straight. A high school in Wisconsin. This actually happened last week during the morning announcements at Broadhead High School in Broadhead, Wisconsin. A principal got on the PA during the morning announcements and announced that 4 students had just died in a car accident. Everybody distraught. Kids started crying. Some of them called their parents. A few minutes later, the principal jumps back on and says, "Oh no, just joking, just kidding. Kids didn't really die. Just trying to teach you a lesson in safe driving." Okay, have a great day. Really?
Is this person still employed?
Yeah, no kidding. And he's the principal. Hey, I get it. You want to make an impression, and you're competing with a lot of other, so maybe you have to go 1, 2, 3, 4 above what you normally would do. But come on, that's awful. Yeah, if he's still employed today, I guarantee you, with everybody talking about this story and the attention that they're going to get, and some of the parental reaction, I'm sure they're in Broadhead, probably not for long. Not for long at all. Hey, we got some sometime on the show today. I know we got some tickets to give out.
Yeah, we're going to be giving tickets away for Radio Redux. Fred's going to be in this morning. We'll be chatting with him about their latest, and we'll have those. And
And we'll have the star of the actual presentation in, too.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know, maybe we'll hold off on the Mackenzie Cider and Craft Brew Festival for tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Because that's going to be coming up Friday and Saturday. So,
Radio Redux kind of gets you ready for the weekend, and you'll probably, after the conversation that we have with Fred and the star of the show, you'll definitely want to go. We'll have tickets for you. News coming up.
Yeah, we'll have these stories in just a matter of moments. Everybody was real happy about the Hynix building being sold, and they thought, wow, look at all the jobs that are going to come here because they're going to redo this thing. And no. Sorry. Also, we'll tell you about the Lane County Board of Commissioners that decided that maybe they were going to put off any decisions regarding smoking in parks and things like that. We'll have that story coming up. Also, a new way that you can access voter results and voting results coming up Tuesday night. We'll have those stories and more. Oh, and the latest on tsunami signs. I know you're saying to yourself, ooh, I'm waiting around the entire broadcast for that story. It's all brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, right here on KPNW.
Where news time is 7:08.
Burrito Amigos is a big deal when it comes to big meals. Have you ever gone through ordering or putting together a big lunch or breakfast at the office, maybe a school or civic organization? It's a hassle. A lot of times, if you're feeding a large group, you have to go off a limited special menu, and you also have to pay a big special price, and you have to order it a month in advance. Then there's the extra charge for warming trays and chafing dishes. You get the picture. Here's the way Burrito Amigos works it. You can order anything you want to off of their menu. They'll loan you the chafing dishes and warming trays, and you can get up to 500 burritos with just a couple of days' notice. You can walk in the day of and order 50 burritos. Burrito Amigos will make sure you get what you want so you can have it the way you want it. Give Larry at Burrito Amigos a call, and he'll make sure you look good while Burrito Amigos does all the work. Burrito Amigos in Eugene and Springfield. They take the big hassle out of big orders, so you're the big hero. Burrito Amigos.
Ramjack has your foundation solution. Ramjack can fix that.
CCB 146906.
Nonpartisan group.
Those ads pushing a yes vote on Measure 97's tax on sales remind me of an old saying.
Oh, yeah? Which one?
That if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Oh, you mean because the ads promoting 97 try to make people believe putting a tax on sales won't increase consumer costs?
Yeah. 97 would put this huge new $6 billion state tax on sales of food, gas, electricity, medicine, and almost everything else.
And the state of Oregon's own study showed 97's tax would cost a typical family like ours $600 a year.
Right. And the ads pushing 97 also want us to believe the money would go to education.
Yeah, well, we've heard that one before, huh?
Yes, we have. And the truth is, since 97 is not a constitutional amendment, the politicians could just spend the money however they want, as usual.
Well, that's another good reason to vote no on Measure 97's $6 billion tax on sales.
Agreed. No on 97.
Paid for by Defeat the Tax on Oregon Sales.
It's the big happenings in the Valley and the state. This is the Wake Up Call on 1120 KPNW with Bill London.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. Here's what's going on. Well, good news turned decidedly sour this week as Broadcom decided to dump the former Hynix plant in Eugene. Earlier this year, it was announced that Broadcom was going to revamp the 1.2 million square foot abandoned Hynix plant to produce silicon chips for smartphones. Broadcom issued a short statement saying they've decided to sell the site in Eugene. When it was originally announced that Broadcom had purchased the property, it was hoped that the refurbishing project and then the operational facility would create hundreds of high-paying jobs. The announcement this week obviously dashed those hopes. As of yesterday, the property was again back up for sale. Broadcom has refused to say why they changed their mind. Speculation has ranged from softening sales of smartphones to fear of Measure 97. Lane County commissioners rejected a proposed ban on smoking and vaping in county parks, but not without deciding to potentially reconsider the policy later with possible changes. The Board of Commissioners voted down the proposal Tuesday that would have applied to the county's 73 parks. The board will consider a provision exempting Native American religious ceremonies and whether the ban should apply to campsites at a later date. The board's decision marks another loss for county health officials who have been pushing for the nanny ban for years. Commissioners voted against the proposal, questioned whether it would actually improve residents' health, as supporters of the ban argue. Several city parks in Lane County have already gone tobacco-free, including Veneta, Eugene, and Springfield. Getting Oregon election results next Tuesday night will be easier because of a new website from the Secretary of State's office. Brad Ford reports.
In this year's legislative session, $348,000 were budgeted to create a website that would make available election results throughout the state. Each county tabulates its ballots and then forwards the information to the Secretary of State's office. In 2015, legislators said a centralized election website would improve the reporting of results. The website has a map for county results. It also has sections for federal, state, and statewide ballot measures. The website is results.oregonvotes.gov. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
Of course, it is run by the state of Oregon, so we know as far as maintaining and keeping websites running, we have a stellar record. A message from elections officials in the state: if you want to ensure that your ballot is canceled or counted, you should have mailed it yesterday. The U.S. Postal Service says ballots could take up to a week to reach county elections offices once they're mailed, so if you didn't mail it by yesterday, you need to drop it in one of the many drop boxes around the area, or stop by your county election headquarters. You can also go to a local library, and if you want an exact location of all the drop sites, just go to your county's website, be it Lane, Lynn, or Benton. Starting this week, Oregonians can sign up, renew, or change their health insurance plans at healthcare.gov. Open enrollment for those who buy plans on their own because they don't have coverage through their employer runs through January 31st of 2017. It opens the door to change plans, and for those that don't have insurance, they can buy a plan and avoid a potential penalty on their taxes. Open enrollment is for individuals. Financial help can help offset some of the increases consumers are going to see as they shop for their 2017 plans. In Oregon, by the way, the average increase for the Affordable Care Act plans is 27%. Although they say many consumers will see higher rate increases depending on their plan. Of the nearly 132,000 Oregonians enrolled in individual coverage on the marketplace, about 95,000 received some sort of financial help. The average premium tax credit they received was $250 a month. It's important to note that an additional 98,000 Oregonians buy individual plans outside the marketplace, and they get no financial help. Oregon has a network of insurance agents and community organizations that can help people enroll. If you want to go to the Oregon Health Insurance Marketplace, you can call them toll-free, 855-268-3767. That's 855-268-3767. And if you want to start shopping for plans, you can go to healthcare.gov. Well, you're going to soon see more tsunami signs along the Oregon coast. Brad Ford reports that paying attention to the signs could, well, save your life.
If a tsunami is generated by an earthquake off the Oregon coast, you have little time to react.
As little as minutes. You've got as little as 10 minutes to get to high ground.
Allie Ryan Hansen with the Department of Geology says you've probably seen the tsunami warning signs.
Entering tsunami hazard zone, leaving tsunami hazard zone signs.
But there aren't many of those signs.
This project is expanding the number of signs from 36 to more than 260.
Hansen says when you go to the coast, it's important to know whether you're in a tsunami zone and the fastest way to get to high ground if there's an earthquake. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
A former bookkeeper for a Portland nonprofit that worked to help Oregon's foster children is suing that organization, alleging she was fired after reporting misspending by her employer. Deborah Moeller filed a $375,000 wrongful termination suit last week, alleging she found money from the nonprofit Give Us This Day had been spent on jewelry stores, Victoria's Secret, and even at a plastic surgeon's office. The lawsuit says Mueller tried to report the spending to her boss, Richard Harris, Harris, but he encouraged her to cover up the criminal actions of the group's executive director, Mary Ayala. Harris says the allegations against him have no merit. A 2015 lawsuit by the state filed against Ayala and others accused of misusing state funds remains ongoing. Give Us This Day closed down last year. A 24-year-old man who molested 3 foster children has been sentenced to 17 years in prison. Jared White of Portland was sentenced Tuesday. Court records say White targeted the children, one as young as 6, when they were living in his grandmother's home between 2007 and 2013. Part of White's sentence stemmed from the sexual abuse of a 4th child who was not in the foster care system. In September, White pleaded guilty to charges of sodomy, unlawful sexual penetration, and sexual abuse of children. White's abuse of the 4 children came to light after one of the foster kids revealed the abuse after being placed in a new home. White had no previous criminal history that anyone knows about. Observers on Capitol Hill are predicting Republicans will lose a few seats in the House of Representatives, but National Republican Congressional Committee Chairman Greg Walden of Oregon agrees, but says the GOP will still remain in power.
We're poised to hold the majority and to be ready to govern. We've got our whole Better Way plan, what we'll do to fix Obamacare and restore national security and our defense. We're ready to go. Can't wait to get this election behind us.
Walden says a few seats are going to be lost because of the retirements, but not nearly enough to spell an end to the Republican majority in the House. The GOP currently has 247 out of 435 seats. Authorities say they're searching for a 58-year-old man who hasn't returned from mushroom picking east of Sweet Home. Lynn County Sheriff Bruce Riley says someone called authorities Tuesday morning to report Oliver Mercer of Lebanon was missing in the area of Rocky Top near Green Peter Reservoir. Riley says Mercer has been missing since Monday morning. Lynn County Search and Rescue is looking for the man. No further details are immediately available. Monitoring glucose levels for diabetics would be much easier with technology being developed at Oregon State University. Brad Ford has the details.
Type 1 diabetes patients, formerly known as juvenile diabetes, can result in the most serious health effects from the disease. Researchers in the OSU College of Engineering have developed a contact lens that tests for changes in glucose levels. It'll then send the information to a pump that delivers insulin and glucagon as necessary. Google has developed a similar lens, but it is not clear like the lens developed at OSU. The next step is developing the communications between the lens and the pump. They don't have a timeline for when it might be available. Brad Ford, KPNW.
Well, your DNA may influence how old you are when you become pregnant and how many kids you'll have, according to a new study. An international team of more than 250 scientists says it's identified 12 areas of DNA associated with the age of first childbirth and total family size. They say that the genetics may play a role in reproductive behavior, along with personal choice, social circumstances, and environmental factors. The analysis of data from more than 568,000 men and women found DNA links to things like choosing to postpone parenthood, which was linked to the late onset and late menopause in women. The researchers say that while finding these DNA links are important, social and environmental factors will always play a bigger role in whether or when people have babies. So in other words, the study is pretty much pointless. It's 6:20. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Game 6, a must-win for the Chicago Cubs on the road. Good time for the Cubby Bats to come alive. Chicago got all the runs they would need by the third inning as Addison Russell tied a World Series record, 6 RBIs, including the first grand slam by a shortstop. The 22-year-old, the second youngest to hit a grand slam in a World Series. Mickey Mantle, a bit younger, back in 1953. Cubs force a Game 7 after they win convincingly at Progressive Field, 9-3. Tonight, Cleveland sends former Eugene M. Corey Kluber, the Klubot, to the mound to try to win it all for the Tribe. NBA last night, Steph Curry and the Golden State All-Stars came into Portland, went strong on the defense, although Damian Lillard still got his 31. Steph Curry, 5 points in the first half, but dropped 23 in the third. Finished with 28. Kevin Durant, another 20. Warriors run away with it over the Blazers, 127-104. Prep girls soccer, 6A playoffs. 4-seeded Sheldon moves on after they win, beating Lincoln 2-0. Saturday, they'll play at home against number 5 Sunset at home. They beat them in September 1-0. Marist girls didn't fare quite as well. They lost to Silverton 1-0 in a bit of an upset in 5A playoffs. Summit destroyed Thurston 13-0. Churchill follows to Bend 3-1. Up at Pleasant Hill got a win. Their 5th straight shutout, 7-0 over Portland Christian. Chris Boucher and the Oregon Duck basketball team on the cover of Sports Illustrated, the college basketball issue, which comes out Thursday. They also have a number 4 ranking to go along with it. Former Duck Josh Huff, now a Philadelphia Eagle, got pulled over for speeding and had pot and a gun in his car. On a brighter note, Pac-12 honors Edward Cheserek for the Men's Athlete of the Year after he won his 4th consecutive Pac-12 individual title. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Max Muscle. Where's your finish line? Set a goal, make a plan, get results. Max Muscle on Franklin across from Market of Choice. News time, 7:23.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. We've got partly to mostly cloudy skies out there right now. We did see some very light rain overnight, but not much accumulation. Temps right now are in the mid-40s to a couple of low 50s. Wind southeast at 5 to 10. This afternoon, we'll see the partly cloudy skies become mostly cloudy as the next storm system starts to approach the area this afternoon. First, we'll see the warm front spread in. Then we'll see the actual cold front arrive with the showers around 8 o'clock tonight. Looking at about 1/4 of an inch, but it is a fast-moving system. Otherwise, this afternoon, highs will be in the upper 50s to low 60s. Winds will shift to the south at 5 to 10 with a few gusts up to 15. Now, as we move into your Thursday and Friday, the storm system will be gone. It'll be replaced by dense fog both of those mornings, but by the afternoons, high pressure coming up from California will dominate, giving us mostly sunny skies and dry weather. But we are tracking a major storm system set to move in late Friday night, bringing showers most of the day Saturday and into your Sunday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
Does your home or business have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Discover why Ramjack is the only foundation company you'll ever need. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Choose Ramjack. CCB 146906.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute, sponsored by Eugene's #1 electrical contractor, Builders Electric. I was motivated the other day when I saw this quote in an article on brain research, and it said, "The biggest underdeveloped bit of property with the greatest potential is still between the ears." Well, that statement reminded me of some other brain research that I read that said that in our lifetime, we'll only use about 7 or 8% of the nearly 10 to 15 billion brain cells we have in that little 3-pound mass between our ears. I guess that makes it real clear then. We can never stop learning, growing, or creating new things in our life. There's a lot of property left to develop. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a positive day.
This Motivational Minute was brought to you by Builders Electric, providing honest, reliable, and positive contracting throughout the Willamette Valley since 1960. That's Builders Electric, CCB number 4296.
I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Chris with Home Comfort. When we say the one to call,
the one means no matter what the problem.
From security lighting, generator systems, panel changeouts, service upgrades, with technicians available 24/7.
Or HVAC, from routine cleanings to breakdowns. Home Comfort's an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. So our highly skilled technicians will ready your house for any season.
Make one call to 541-345-2838.
Home Comfort, the one to call.
It's fall. That can mean football weather or a blazing heat wave, depending on what Mother Nature has in mind. Don't sweat Mother Nature's moodiness. Talk to the home comfort specialists at Beamer Heating and Sheet Metal for help. They have advanced heating and cooling systems from Lennox that can keep your home perfectly comfortable, no matter what's going on outside. And right now, Beamer Heating and Sheet Metal is offering up to a $1,600 rebate and 9.99% financing on a qualifying new Lennox system. That's up to a $1,600 rebate on an innovative, highly efficient heating and cooling system that can put you in control of your home comfort and your monthly utility bills. So seize the day. Call the experts at Beamer Heating and Sheet Metal right now at 541-688-5004. That's 541-688-5004. Or visit them online at beamerheating.com. License number 4483. You've heard me talk about glutamine and how important it is for your body. It repairs every cell in the human body, giving you overall optimal health. It's odorless, tasteless, and flavorless. Stop by, give it a try. You won't taste a thing. Max Muscle, Franklin Boulevard in Eugene.
The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
You know, there was a time when I was working on another station a long time ago doing news, that on Fridays we would do a thing that was called News or Kung Fu Fighting. And we would have listeners call in and decide whether we would actually do the news or play.
And how often did the Kung Fu Fighting song come up as the winner?
Probably about half the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you think that would be like today?
I don't know. We could try it in the 8 o'clock hour if you want.
Okay.
We could just say...
Give it a shot.
Yeah. Let's.
Are we locked into this song?
Yeah. It's News or Kung Fu Fighting. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Loretta Power is joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning, and I bet she has some chops. Did you ever dance to this song, Loretta?
Yes.
I think she's hung up on us. You've actually you danced to this, and was it fun? Did you enjoy it, or did you accidentally end up throat kicking someone?
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Okay, good deal.
And nobody was harmed in my dancing,
No one
except for my pride.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, I know how that goes. So Loretta Power is joining us, sitting in for Lise Wheel, who is on, I don't know, assignment this week or something that makes it sound official. Loretta, of course, a longtime attorney, and joins us on the Wake Up Call as a legal analyst. Let's talk about Harry Reid. And we discussed this in the 6 o'clock hour yesterday. But Harry Reid, the minority leader in the Senate, the Democratic minority leader, is saying that his belief is that Comey may have violated federal law when he disclosed less than a couple of weeks before the presidential election that they were looking at new evidence related to Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton and her use of a private email server as Secretary of State. And he says, well, this may be a violation of the Hatch Act. My question here is this something that, and let's say that it was a violation, how does one go about, what is the Hatch Act, and how does one go about even trying to, prove that claim?
Well, the Hatch Act was established in 1939 while Franklin Delano Roosevelt was president, and basically it has a high intent element to it. You must intend to affect the election or the outcome of the election. Here, I don't think it happens. It's my legal opinion that Mr. Reid is out of line whenever it comes to these accusations. Director Comey, he testified before Congress whenever this was going on, saying that he would update Congress as things pursued forward. And that's exactly what he did. And had he not updated his testimony, he could have perjured himself.
I would assume... Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, so this is just one of those you're darned if you do, darned if you don't things.
Okay, and by the way, you can say damned if you want to on this station. That said... it sounds to me, though, that to prove that this was a violation of the Hatch Act, it almost sounds to me like it goes to the same standard that one would have to prove to try and, like, for instance, prove a conspiracy.
You're absolutely right about that. You have to prove the intent element to it. And if there's another reason why you're coming forward with this, then that's not going to cut it.
So to actually prove a Hatch Act violation, you would actually have to have almost evidence where, Comey came out and said, I'm going to do everything I can to try and prevent Hillary Clinton from winning the presidential election. I mean, he would have to have almost gone on record. Somebody would have to have heard it. It would have to have been in an email. I mean, it would have to be literally in black and white. Am I correct?
It sounds silly, but that's the way the law's set up.
Has anyone ever been even prosecuted under a violation of the Hatch Act?
Not to my knowledge, but that's not saying that it never happened.
Okay. So, talking a little bit about this investigation with Comey, what kind of connection would there have to be with Hillary's server for, Anthony Weiner and his soon-to-be ex-wife, I believe they're separated at this point, for those kind of emails to be on their personal computer? I mean, for him to open that up again, wouldn't it have to almost go to the question of classified documents?
That is a great point that you bring up. Well, apparently Huma Abedin was CC'd in all of her emails, and so that's how they got on the server of Anthony Weiner's computer. So Hillary Clinton did a great job deleting the emails from her server, but she didn't account for all the other servers out there. So we're just going to have to see how this plays out.
All right. So is it... Because I'm just trying to figure out, what might be there that Comey would say, let's reopen it. So my question would be, would it necessarily have to be completely different material that they haven't already looked at from the emails that they were able to see from Hillary Clinton's server? Or, is it more likely that these are emails that they were not aware of and never saw?
I think they were not aware of these emails up until they found them on Anthony Weiner's computer, which is why he had to update his testimony for Congress.
Okay, so what you're saying is this is a completely new batch. It's not duplicates of what were gone over before.
Yes.
Okay, then my next question would be, not knowing how many emails that they found here, if they were going to do a thorough investigation, would there be any way that there would be some sort of determination whether there was a legal concern prior to the voting next Tuesday?
I really don't think so. I think as soon as he found out that there were more emails, he had to come forward with it. Otherwise, he could have committed perjury.
So you think that at this point it was just a matter of, on his part, CYA?
Exactly. Exactly, because he told Congress that he would keep them up to date if any changes happened in the investigation. And I'm wondering, did Harry Reid kind of expect him to not live up to his affirmative obligation?
Well,
I really don't know here.
I mean, not that I really want to defend Harry Reid, but he's doing what one would expect him to do as a Hillary Clinton supporter. I mean, he's going to politicize this in any way that he can. He's going to do what he can to try and throw Comey under the bus to try and prop up Hillary. I mean, what he's doing here, I don't think is really a surprise, is it?
Right. I guess it kind of ties back into what you said earlier. Is this news or is this kung fu fighting? Is this grandstanding or is this really an issue with the Hatch Act?
Yeah. All right. Loretta, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a great day.
You too.
$12 and a sandwich.
Yeah.
That she doesn't know what CYA means.
You really don't think she knows
No.
what CYA means?
Mm-mm.
Huh? I wonder how many of our listeners know what CYA means.
I'm just talking about her.
Yeah, I know you're just talking about her, but I'm just kind of curious how many other folks know what CYA means. Anyway, that's a pretty common term around most offices, isn't it?
It depends on the office.
I mean, we used to call CYA or Post-its CYA notes.
Okay. Look at that.
This coffee is really good this morning.
Wow. Meow.
Yeah.
All right, 7:36 as we get closer to the 8 o'clock witching hour commute-wise. Things looking pretty okay. as I knock on Formica. Let's hope that trend continues. You see anything out there that bears a chat about, get it to us, and we'll pass it on. Good morning from the Wake Up Call, live and local here in Eugene.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are little changed this Wednesday morning. All eyes are on the Federal Reserve. The central bank is expected to leave interest rates unchanged when its two-day meeting concludes later today. Traders are pricing in just a 15% chance of a rate hike at this meeting. Time Warner, which is being acquired by AT&T, posted third-quarter earnings that beat estimates with the help of box office hit Suicide Squad. Ford said sales fell 11.9% in October, trailing the 11% forecast in a Bloomberg survey of analysts. Ford's report was one day late because a fire at headquarters on Monday made it impossible for dealers to file their month-end results on time. People familiar with the matter say Finish Line is looking for a buyer for its Jackrabbit chain of specialty running shoe stores. It's been a tough year for sporting goods merchants, with retailers Sports Authority, Eastern Mountain Sports, and Golfsmith all filing for bankruptcy, along with equipment maker Performance Sports Group. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Brad's Cottage Grove Chevy GMC. Terrific inventory, great prices.
Quarterback pumps. Now throws complete. Receivers inside the 20. Headed for the end zone. That's a touchdown, Oregon.
Precision counts, whether it's a big game on the line or, more importantly, your quality of life.
I used to refer to the excruciating pain in my cheek and jaw as crunch time. Turns out it's called trigeminal neuralgia, a condition caused by a nerve in my brain. I lived in fear of the next episode until my doctor recommended Sacred Heart Gamma Knife Center.
With the precision of a Heisman quarterback, the center's specialized physicians targeted the nerve with highly focused radiation beams. No knives or incisions were needed, which preserved healthy tissue. Mary returned home the same day, and it was game over for her pain in just a few weeks.
It's a whole new ballgame for me, with cheers instead of fears.
If you have a brain tumor or episodes of severe facial pain, ask your primary doctor or specialist if the Gamma Knife could be right for you. Visit our website at peacehealth.org/Gamma Knife to learn more.
Hunting season is starting up, and Oak Grove Guns has what you need to make your hunt successful with a wide selection of shotguns, scopes, laser sights, and ammo. And if you need protection, now's the time to swing by and see Dave and Nick. They have an overstock of used handguns, all in good condition, and now every used handgun is being discounted by $25. Oak Grove Guns is the local family-owned gun and protection shop that can help you find the product that suits your needs. Oak Grove Guns, proud to supply products to responsible gun owners.
There was a time when our biggest export on the South Coast was our people. Mills were closing, ports were quiet, jobs were scarce. Caddy McEwen rolled up her sleeves and worked with her neighbors to make things better. On the school board, Caddy worked to balance budgets fairly and make sure our kids got a quality education. On the Port Commission, Caddy McEwen helped lead efforts to rebuild our infrastructure, like the Coos Bay Rail Line, so we could develop our economy. Thanks in large part to Caddy McEwen's leadership, 1.5 million tons of cargo move through the port every year. And we're adding new high-wage marine jobs that can support a family. In the State House, Caddy McEwen keeps leading, investing in job training programs, helping create the Oregon Promise to make community college free for deserving students, and standing up for seniors with tougher laws to crack down on fraud and abuse. State Representative Caddy McEwen, she's always working for us.
Paid for by Caddy McEwen for Representative.
Who's going to win? It's the Ducks versus the Beavers. Choose your side today and support child literacy. The Smart Reading Program, in cooperation with both universities, has launched a literacy challenge. Go to crowdrise.com/Beavers versus Ducks and provide a donation. One donor from the winning team will be chosen to select an elementary school to host a school-wide reading assembly featuring their mascot. The winner will be announced at the big game. Please visit crowdrise.com/Beavers vs Ducks and offer your help. And regardless of the score on the field, it's the children who will win.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, conditions aren't that bad. We've got partly to mostly cloudy skies, temps in the upper 40s to low 50s, light winds out of the southeast at 5 to 10. We're going to see the partly cloudy skies become mostly cloudy late this afternoon as the next storm system starts to move in. Highs will be in the upper 50s to low 60s. Winds will shift south at 5 to 10, but there's about an 80 to 90% chance of isolated showers moving in between 8 and 10 p.m. this evening. The good news is it's a fast-moving system. While it will bring showers overnight, they'll clear out quickly by morning. Now, for Thursday and Friday, we are looking at mostly sunny skies as high pressure moves in from California, but we could see some fairly dense fog both of those mornings that won't burn off till the early afternoon. Then as we move towards your weekend, another storm system rolls in for showers most of the day Saturday into Sunday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
I'm proud to call myself their number one listener.
The Wake Up Call with Holloway in London.
All right, sweethearts, what are you waiting for?
On News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Dump the emails. Well, that was another one of yesterday was one of the big takeaways from another dump by WikiLeaks regarding Hillary Clinton. To talk about it this morning, Gianno Caldwell joining us with Red Alert Politics, also a political analyst and has worked on a number of campaigns. Gianno, thanks for being with us this morning. We appreciate it. So, you know, before we get into the actual WikiLeaks dump, has the announcement that Comey is reopening the FBI investigation into Hillary's emails sucked basically all the air out of the WikiLeaks dumps at this point? Even though they weren't really being reported by the mainstream media, I mean, has this sucked even more of the air out of it?
Well, the FBI, a criminal investigation into a mainstream candidate for president, sure, it would suck the air out of any situation of another scandal in which they have. But it's still being reported in the news. I was talking about it on Fox Business Channel yesterday. We talked about it on Fox News Channel as well. This is something that's very serious. I think it speaks to what many Americans perceive of the Hillary Clinton candidacy and campaign, which is doing things that are unethical as a norm. I'm from Chicago, where I've seen corruption up close and personal. I've seen governors go to jail. And I can tell you, this reeks of what I smelled in Chicago in terms of a culture of corruption. And I believe that's what we're continuing to see with Hillary Clinton. If she's elected, that's what we will see in her presidency, mirrored with investigations by Congress and perhaps other revelations in terms of investigations via the FBI.
All right, so yesterday, as part of the latest WikiLeaks dump, one of the emails said, quote, "Not to sound like Lanny, but we are going to have to dump all those emails, so better to do it sooner than later." And that was in a March 2015 message labeled as from John Podesta to Cheryl Mills and apparently referencing, I guess, Lanny Davis. I mean, doesn't that right there come across as being saying, let's destroy the evidence?
To me, that's what I got from it. I mean, there was a media report that showed that at that time, the reason for him saying it was media report showed that there was evidence, or not rather evidence, but there was this acknowledgement of this private email server, which we now know to be an illegal practice by the Secretary of State, or rather unconventional and against rule and regulation practice by the Secretary of State. And because usually Secretary of State emails are supposed to be FOIAable, there's a Public Records Keeping Act that she was not following. So she was in violation of that by not providing those email copies with the Secretary of State or the federal government. And in essence, the campaign director or manager, John Podesta, said, look, it's time to get rid of the evidence, as you said.
Of the different WikiLeaks or WikiLeaks, dumps that we've had so far, of all the different things that you've seen, because you follow this, what do you think is, the most damning series of emails to come out of WikiLeaks at this point regarding Clinton?
I don't know. It seems like they've been dropping things every day. It seems as though the worst of the worst comes out as the closer we get to election. So I'm not sure what they're going to drop the rest of this week. I imagine the most damaging of whatever they have will come out on Friday, if they have anything left. Because as you know, with all the investigations and the Clinton and the Democrats being on defense with the FBI investigation, if they have something that's pretty big on Trump, they're going to wait to drop it until Thursday or Friday, which would make the most sense, if not today, because you want to make sure going into the weekend and on Tuesday, everybody's talking about the other candidate and what they did wrong. That's like the most, then it bleeds into the voter's mind and consciousness and affects the enthusiasm of the voter, which we saw a poll recently show that Clinton supporters are less enthusiastic about voting for her, which translates to them likely not mustering up the passion to go to the polls and vote for her if they're not enthusiastic about their vote.
You know, what strikes me is that the information that was coming out about the Clinton Foundation prior to the Comey announcement, for the first time was really starting to get a certain amount of attraction in this whole idea of pay for play that was going on with the Clinton Foundation. And, I mean, even the mainstream media begrudgingly was starting to pick up that story. It's pretty much disappeared.
Well, yeah, Fox has talked about this. I've talked about this on Fox News Channel because I'm on there almost every day talking about these kind of issues. This has become extremely troubling, and we saw reports on Friday. Was it Friday or maybe Saturday and Monday and Sunday? The FBI has really been looking into the Clinton Foundation, and there were a number of FBI investigators that wanted to take more aggressive tactics in seeking out information with regards to the Clinton Foundation because they thought something was there. And then the Justice Department weighed in and said, leave the investigation alone, essentially told them to pull off of it. And we haven't seen much more since then, but I imagine if Hillary Clinton is elected president, and the FBI, of course, is supposed to be an independent unit, if they're doing their jobs, we're probably going to see FBI agents going into the Clinton Foundation with their FBI coats pulling computers and boxes of paperwork out of there because they found something really big. And that seems as though that's the direction in which it's going in.
Okay, but the Justice Department, if they're calling it off now and they have the ability to call pull the dogs back from the FBI, wouldn't it make sense that under a Hillary Clinton Department of Justice,
they wouldn't go and investigate?
Yeah, that they definitely wouldn't be going in and investigating.
Well, the thing is this. It seems though, even though the Justice Department called the number 2 at the FBI and said, look, why are you guys still investigating? His agents were still taking it on. And now it's fairly public that the Justice Department tried to pull them back off the investigation. And the press isn't going to let this go, so they're going to have to investigate. I think with these emails, we're seeing a continuation of that investigation and the potential of a Clinton Foundation potential indictment. I don't think anyone's going to let this go. I think the point of letting it go would have been everything was quiet and no one knew anything. It's going to be a public embarrassment before it's all said and done, which it already is, but it will likely, I think, in my opinion, the way things are going and from what I've read, lead to an indictment.
All right. Giano, thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you, and please follow me on Twitter, too, at Giano Caldwell, Gianno Caldwell, Caldwell, and that's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all those wonderful social media sites.
Wow, you're everywhere.
Indeed. Thank you, sir.
All right, you take care. Thanks for joining us. It is 7:51 News Radio 1120 KPNW.
I'm Isaac Jackson at Jackson Jones Law Office. At our office, we represent people who have lost everything because of someone else's bad judgment. When someone takes something close to you, your health or a loved one, the right lawyer can help you walk through the stress, get the medical bills paid, and if needed, stand up and fight on your behalf. Our philosophy is simple. We start by meeting with you to give you a straightforward assessment of your case. Once that's done, we'll talk about what it means to hire a lawyer, whether it makes sense to try to get a settlement without a lawsuit, or whether we think it will take a fight. Our office specializes in wrongful death cases, accidents involving drunk drivers, and victims in violent car accidents. We want to help you move on, but if we need to, we will stand up and we'll fight for you. Call me, Isaac Jackson, at 541-556-9797. Let's have a conversation. At Jackson Jones Law, we understand that everything can change in a second. If that's you, let us help you walk through this difficult time. Again, call me, Isaac Jackson, at 541-556-9797 at Jackson Jones Law.
Mid-Lane Truck and Equipment Repair would like to remind you that weather is changing and winter is right around the corner. Getting your vehicle ready requires more than just installing snow tires. Your antifreeze protection needs to be checked, belts and hoses inspected and replaced if needed, and windshield wipers replaced for clear vision ahead. Stop by Mid-Lane Truck and Equipment Repair today to schedule an appointment, and don't let old man winter leave you out in the cold. Call 541-345-7570 or visit midlanetruckequiprepair.com.
Springfield Rotary Club presents the Mackenzie Cider and Craft Beer Festival November 4th and 5th at the Willamette Lane Center in Springfield. This is the premier brew fest in Lane County, featuring live music, great food, and more than 75 craft brewers of cider and beer. Admission is $15 at the door or online at mccbf.com. Children are free until 5 p.m. Proceeds will support the Willamette Lane Foundation and will also support the construction of a tiny house by students at Gateways High School. Mackenzie Cider and Craft Beer Festival November 4th and 5th at the Willamette Lane Center in Springfield. mccbf.com.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. Psychologists are beginning to study social norms and how they affect group behavior, individual attitudes, and actions. Social norms are the often unspoken rules about what's considered appropriate, correct, or desirable behavior in a particular group, and serves the basic function of helping us distinguish who's in and who is an outsider. Not much is actually known about how these norms are established, or why some people in groups become trendsetters, or even if a leader is necessary, or the norms sometimes evolve organically. One thing is certain, though, and that's if you want to belong, you had better conform, as any high school kid knows, or you could wind up suffering some painful social consequences. Here's the nugget. Belonging to a group and following the herd can have great benefits in terms of physical and psychological safety, so being part of it is important. But when it comes to investing, it can be downright dangerous, because social norms and group behavior are what makes both bubbles and Bernie Madoffs possible. So being an outsider is often the only way to succeed. Still, while being an individual who acts independently can yield great results, and not just in investing, if you're going your own way, it's better to keep it to yourself, or develop a mighty thick skin. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Who is it?
Asthma.
Asthma?
That's right, asthma.
You must have the wrong house. Who's there?
West Nile virus. Can I come in?
No, you can't come in.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure. Yes.
Hello, it's Lyme disease.
I am not opening the door for Lyme disease.
I'll be back.
Who is it now?
$5 billion in property damage.
What do you want?
I'm just spreading the love, ma'am.
Go away.
When household pests are in your home, you never know what kind of health and property threats they're going to invite over. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the National Pest Management Association. Visit pestworld.org to become more aware of the serious threats common household pests like mice, roaches, and termites can pose to your health, your home, and your family.
It's 6:42 p.m. Time for Steve Plotto and his son Dylan to do the dishes. They talk about everything from the yuckiness of girls to the awesomeness of his soccer team. Sometimes they don't talk at all. Then, hey! The dreaded splash fight. It's Dad o'clock, and it's the best time of the day. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. We've got partly to mostly cloudy skies out there right now. We did see some very light rain overnight, but not much accumulation. Temps right now are in the mid-40s to a couple of low 50s. Wind southeast at 5 to 10. This afternoon, we'll see the partly cloudy skies become mostly cloudy as the next storm system starts to approach the area this afternoon. First, we'll see the warm front spread in. Then we'll see the actual cold front arrive with the showers around 8 o'clock tonight. Looking at about 1/4 of an inch, but it is a fast-moving system. Otherwise, this afternoon, highs will be in the upper 50s to low 60s. Winds will shift to the south at 5 to 10 with a few gusts up to 15. Now, as we move into your Thursday and Friday, the storm system will be gone. It'll be replaced by dense fog both of those mornings, but by the afternoons, high pressure coming up from California will dominate, giving us mostly sunny skies and dry weather. But we are tracking a major storm system set to move in late Friday night, bringing showers most of the day Saturday and into your Sunday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Federal Reserve policymakers are wrapping up their two-day meeting today with an official announcement at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Few are expecting the Fed to make a move today. Traders are pricing in only about a 15% chance of a hike. Stocks are lower in early trading. Yum China ready to step out of the shadow of KFC owner Yum Brands. The company will add 600 restaurants a year in China and plans to export its Mongolian hot pot chain that's popular in the country all around the world. Yum China began trading in New York yesterday. Video game maker Electronic Arts posted quarterly results that beat analyst estimates on the strength of the company's popular sports titles. Sales of FIFA, Madden NFL, and Hockey Ultimate Team were up 15% in the last 12 months. Some of the world's biggest oil companies are setting up a fund to invest in research and development of technologies to cut emissions of greenhouse gases and promote clean energy, and that's according to a person with knowledge of the matter. The investment will be unveiled on Friday. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
There are some critical questions that the mainstream media needs to start asking, no matter how much they want Hillary Clinton to be the next president of the United States. I'm Lars Larson with the Northwest Report's commentary in just a moment.
Have you ever thought about all the money you spend at the pharmacy buying a shaver, and it's just a cheap piece of plastic? Harry's.com was started by two guys passionate about creating a better shaving experience. They bought a blade factory in Germany. They turn out the best blades, and the starter kit, $15, and it's delivered to your house, and delivery is free. Go to Harry's.com right now. Enter my code name Lars in the promo box. $5 off your first order. Enter my code name Lars for $5 off your first order. That's Harry's.com. Change the way you shave forever.
Reporters and editors and producers in the news business set the agenda in political races to a large extent. They decide the questions that you're going to ask and the questions you're not going to ask. The things you spend a lot of time on, like the Billy Bush tapes in the Donald Trump campaign, and the ones that they don't pay much attention to at all. Right now, I think reporters should be asking whether or not Donna Brazile, who just got fired by CNN, whether or not she should continue as the head of the DNC. And John Podesta, who apparently suggested destruction of government documents and obstruction of justice. Some reporters should start asking John Podesta, don't you think you should step down as the manager of the Hillary Clinton campaign, whether it's a week before the election or not? For Northwest Reports, I'm Lars Larson.
Fox News, fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW Eugene Springfield.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Dave Anthony. They got him. The man wanted for the ambush murder of two police officers early this morning in Iowa. Fox's Jeff Manasso has the update live.
Dave, a statewide manhunt has ended for 46-year-old Scott Michael Green in Dallas County, Iowa, just west of Urbandale and Des Moines, where police say he ambushed two police officers in separate attacks overnight, killing both as they sat in their police cars.
Imagine that you lost a friend or a family member. You know, I mean, that's the only way you can describe it.
Emotional Police Sergeant Paul Parisnik, the officer's identity is not released. The accused gunman has a criminal past, though no motive yet as for why he'd kill police officers. Dave.
Jeff, Donald Trump will again hammer away at Obamacare and Hillary Clinton over her emails at rallies across Florida today after she said this last night in Florida.
I am sick and tired of the negative, dark, divisive, dangerous vision and behavior of people who support Donald Trump.
Clinton will be in Nevada and Arizona today. The World Series finale is tonight.
When you get down to Game 7, it doesn't get any better than this.
And either that long-suffering Indians fan or even longer-suffering Cubs fans will finally celebrate. Fox's Jared Max live at Cleveland's Progressive Field.
Dave, one team tonight is going to walk away champions and the other wondering what could have been. Since 1980, there's only been one team which came back to win the World Series, taking the final 2 games on the road, and that was the 1997 Florida Marlins, who won the final 2 against the Cleveland Indians right here in Cleveland. Corey Kluber, your starting pitcher for Cleveland tonight. He goes on 3 days rest for the second time in this series, while the Chicago Cubs turn to Kyle Hendricks. This is history in the making. Cleveland was a founding member of the American League back in 1901. The Cubs have been around since 1870 when they were the Chicago White Stockings. Something we'll give tonight. One drought comes to an end here in Cleveland. Dave?
Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This tip of the week brought to you by Neurospine Institute.
You probably don't think about your neck much until it hurts. With stresses such as poor posture, tension, muscle strain, or injuries from accidents or sports, it's no wonder your neck is at risk for pain and injury. The physicians at Neurospine Institute can diagnose the cause of your neck problem through a physical exam and diagnostic tests. Then, they'll determine the best course of treatment for you through improved self-care, physical therapy and exercise, medication, or surgery.
Are you living with chronic pain? The specialists at Neurospine Institute can diagnose the problem and develop a personalized treatment plan to address your symptoms. Their comprehensive services include clinical and surgical procedures, sports medicine, physical therapy, medical imaging, and pain management. Neurospine Institute's medical professionals will work closely with your primary care or referring physician to ensure that you receive the best care and treatment. They serve all of Western Oregon with 2 locations, the main campus in Eugene and their Roseburg clinic. Visit neurospinellc.com today and get your life back.
Again, our top Fox story. They have captured a wanted murder suspect in Iowa. Scott Green, found hours after police say he ambushed and killed 2 police officers early this morning. As the FBI reviews all the emails newly discovered in the reopened probe into Hillary Clinton using a private server, while Secretary of State WikiLeaks releases more hacked emails from the Clinton campaign. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
The latest release of emails by WikiLeaks is pointing to a possible conflict of interest between the Clinton campaign and a top official at the Department of Justice. A May 2015 email from Assistant Attorney General Peter Kadzik to campaign chairman John Podesta shows that Kadzik gave Podesta a heads up that there was about to be a congressional hearing where a justice official would get questions about the Clinton email scandal. Kadzik sent Podesta the email from his private Gmail account rather than from his official government email address. Kadzik is helping lead the reopened FBI investigation of Clinton's use of a private email server while serving as Secretary of State. Dave?
Hey, John, like a GM and Fiat Chrysler, Ford saw U.S. sales slump last month, a 12% decline, while on Wall Street the Dow's down 30 points before a Fed statement on the economy not expected to include an interest rate hike. A rare illness has cropped up in Washington state.
Investigators say a cluster of a polio-like illness may be responsible for the death of a 6-year-old boy and hospitalization of 8 others. State health officials suspect acute flaccid myelitis, or AFM. The Washington Health Department says the children all have lost strength or movement in one or more of their limbs. Doctors say AFM is not contagious, but there is no vaccine. The mysterious illness appears to be an abnormal reaction to various ailments, including West Nile virus and the common cold.
That's Tom Graham. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
Hey, good morning to you. Welcome in hour number 3 of a Wednesday, November 2nd. 11:20 KPNW with morning clouds here and there, afternoon clearing, and a 20% chance of rain. 68 for the high, a 60% chance of rain tonight. Overnight dip down to 50. And as you look out, we don't have... Well, it's pretty out there, but what really is striking is the sun on the tops of trees. It is pretty out there right now. If you have a chance to get out and maybe take a couple of minutes before you start your chaos that is a Wednesday. All right, so here's the deal. We have something going on right now with this radio station. And if you want to get every detail, you can go to our website, kpnw.com. We've got daily prizes. Every single day, you can be in for some good stuff. And on the way to a Remington 783 from Oak Grove.
Yep, it is the best shot. That's actually a Remington 281, but all you have to do is make sure that you get this year's best shot in. You've bagged something this year, maybe an elk, deer, whatever. Make sure you get the photograph to us, and make sure that you also are over 18 years of age and that, yes, you have a license. Okay? So that's going to be the good thing. And then at the end of this, at the end of next week, we're going to do a random drawing for the grand prize. And so all you have to do is just go to the website, kpnw.com, click on the banner there, and it will take you through the process of getting yourself registered, even downloading the picture for you so that it comes in automatically. It's very easy to do. By the way, you're going to get that rifle if you win in your choice of caliber. So it's not like, oh, okay, it's a .223. No, you're going to get it in your choice of caliber, which is pretty darn cool.
Apparently you've got through November 10th, but why would you wait and miss out on the dailies? I mean, you wait till 7th, 8th, 9th, and you're going to, basically today, tomorrow, you won't have a chance for it. So any questions, of course, go to kpnw.com. It is Oak Grove Ventures Incorporated and KPNW's Take Your Best Shot contest. News coming up, 8:07.
Do you spend much time thinking about meat? Probably just the word meat evokes some sort of picture in your mind. At Burrito Amigos, they spend quite a bit of time dealing with people who want their meat. And they probably have more types of meat prepared in more ways than most fancy sit-down places. Consider adobada, chili verde pork, nice and spicy, a new personal favorite. Chicken, carne asada, shredded Angus beef. Actually, anything with beef at Burrito Amigos is Angus. It's more tender. There's also carnitas, real cod fillets for fish tacos and burritos, shrimp, tongue, chorizo, link sausage, machaca, tofu, which is meat for people who don't eat meat. And of course, there's the king of meat, bacon, 2 different types. And you can have your favorite type of meat in burritos, tacos, tortas, tostados, or on nachos. You make the call. Burrito Amigos will make it meaty or tofu-y if that's your choice. Variety and making you happy is what it's all about. Burrito Amigos, dare I say, they are the meaty ones. In Eugene and Springfield, I'm Bill London, and I approve of meat and Burrito Amigos.
When you're a sports writer like me, you know, speed always wins.
And now they're side to side coming around the final turn.
Because old news isn't news at all, especially when the 24-hour news cycle is now more like 24 seconds.
One of these guys looking to create some space.
But with slow internet from the phone company, you're stuck, watching spinning wheels and progress bars till someone else scoops your story.
Making his move down the stretch.
Comcast Business has speeds up to 10 gigabits per second.
Breaking for the checkered flag.
Look, you wouldn't pick a slow race car, a slow wide receiver, or a slow point guard. Then why settle for slow internet? Call 800-501-6000 today. Comcast Business. Built for speed, built for business.
Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary and are not guaranteed. 10 gig service may not be available in your area. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Call for details.
Oregon's game Megabucks jackpot is over $5 million. Buy yours today.
Now, this morning's wake-up call with the latest news from the Northwest and your neighborhood on News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Good news turned decidedly sour this week as Broadcom decided to dump the former Hynix plant in Eugene. Now, earlier this year, it was announced that Broadcom was going to revamp the 1.2 million square foot abandoned Hynix plant to produce silicon chips for smartphones. Broadcom issued a short statement saying that they changed their mind and decided to sell the site in Eugene. When it was originally announced that Broadcom had purchased the property, it was hoped that the refurbishing project and then the operational facility would create hundreds of high-paying jobs. The announcement this week obviously dashed that hope. As of yesterday, the property was back up for sale. Broadcom has refused to say why they changed their mind. Speculation has ranged from softening sales of smartphones to fear of Measure 97. Lane County commissioners have rejected a proposed ban on smoking and vaping in county parks, but not without deciding to reconsider the policy later with possible changes. The Board of Commissioners voted down the proposal Tuesday that would have applied to the county's 73 parks. The board will consider a provision exempting Native American religious ceremonies and whether the ban should apply to campsites at a later date. The board's decision marks another loss for county health officials who have pushed for the nanny ban for several years. Commissioners who voted against the proposal questioned whether it would actually improve residents' health, as supporters of the ban have argued. Several city parks in Lane County have already gone tobacco-free in towns like Veneta, Eugene, and Springfield. Getting Oregon election results next Tuesday night will get easier, at least that's the theory, because of a new website from the Secretary of State's office. Brad Ford reports.
In this year's legislative session, $348,000 were budgeted to create a website that would make available election results throughout the state. Each county tabulates its ballots and then forwards the information to the Secretary of State's office. In 2015, legislators said a centralized election website would improve the reporting of results. The website has a map for county results. It also has sections for federal, state, and statewide ballot measures. The website is results.oregonvotes.gov. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
And you know, because Oregon has such a stellar reputation when it comes to websites, that there's nothing that's going to go wrong with this. By the way, speaking of elections, a message from the Secretary of State's office. If you want to ensure that your ballot is going to get counted, you need to have had it in the mail as of yesterday. The U.S. Postal Service says ballots could take up to 7 days to reach county elections offices once they're mailed. So, if you're doing the math here, oh yeah, next Tuesday, November 8th is Election Day. That means I had to send it yesterday. If it's not in the mail, elections officials advise at this point that you actually hand deliver it to either your county election headquarters or one of the many drop boxes that are set up around your local county. You can go to your county's website to find exactly where those boxes are. And by the way, if you're one of those people that thinks it's like your taxes, that as long as you get it postmarked by November 8th, it's good, you're wrong. That doesn't work. Sorry. Starting this week, Oregonians can sign up, renew, or change their health insurance plans at healthcare.gov. The open enrollment for folks who buy plans on their own because they don't have coverage through their employer will run through January 31st, and it opens the door for you to change your plan, or if you don't have insurance, to buy it to avoid a potential penalty on your taxes. Open enrollment is for individuals. They say that financial help can help offset the rate increases that consumers are going to be seeing if they're shopping for 2017 plans. This week, or this year, the average rate increase for the Affordable Care Act, 27%. 27%. Of the nearly 132,000 Oregonians enrolled in individual coverage in the marketplace in 2016, about 95,000 received some form of financial help. The average premium tax credit they received was about $250 a month. It's important to note that an additional 98,000 Oregonians buy individual plans outside the marketplace, and they have zero access to financial help. Now, Oregon has a network of insurance agents and community organizations ready to help people enroll. You can call Oregon Health Insurance Marketplace. Here's the number, 855-268-36, or make that 3767. That's 855-268-3767. Or if you just want to start shopping online, you can go to healthcare.gov. Well, you'll soon see more tsunami warnings on the Oregon coast. Brad Ford reports that paying attention to the signs could save your life.
If a tsunami is generated by an earthquake off the Oregon coast, you have little time to react.
As little as minutes. You've got as little as 10 minutes to get to high ground.
Allie Ryan Hansen with the Department of Geology says you've probably seen the tsunami warning signs.
Entering tsunami hazard zone, leaving tsunami hazard zone signs.
But there aren't many of those signs.
This project is expanding the number of signs from 36 to more than 260.
Hansen says when you go to the coast, it's important to know whether you're in a tsunami zone and the fastest way to get to high ground if there's an earthquake. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
A former bookkeeper for a Portland nonprofit that worked to help Oregon's foster children is suing the organization, alleging she was fired after reporting misspending by her employer. Deborah Mueller filed a $375,000 wrongful termination suit last week, and she alleges she found money from the nonprofit Give Us This Day that had been spent at jewelry stores, Victoria's Secrets, and even a plastic surgeon's office. The lawsuit says Mueller tried to report the spending to her boss, Richard Harris, but he told her to cover it up and to cover up the criminal actions of the group's executive director, Mary Ayala. Harris says the allegations against him have no merit. A 2015 lawsuit filed by the state against Ayala and others accused of misusing state funds remains ongoing. By the way, Give Us This Day folded last year. A 24-year-old man who molested 3 foster children has been sentenced to 17 years in prison. Jared White of Portland was sentenced yesterday. Court records say White targeted the kids, one as young as 6, while they were living at his stepmother's home between 2007 and 2013. Part of White's sentence stemmed from sexually abusing a 4th child who was not in the foster care system. In September, White pleaded guilty to a number of charges, including sodomy and sexual abuse of children. White's abuse of the 4 children came to light after one of the foster children revealed the abuse after being placed in a new home. As far as it's known, White had no previous criminal history. Observers on Capitol Hill are predicting Republicans are going to lose some seats in the House of Representatives this year. National Republican Congressional Committee Chairman Greg Walden of Oregon agrees, but says the GOP is easily going to retain power.
We're poised to hold the majority and to be ready to govern. We've got our whole Better Way plan, what we'll do to fix Obamacare and restore national security and our defense. We're ready to go. Can't wait to get this election behind us.
Walden says a few seats are going to be lost because of retirements, but not nearly enough to spell an end to the Republican majority in the House. The GOP currently has 247 out of 435 seats. Authorities say they're looking for a 58-year-old man who hasn't returned from a mushroom-picking excursion east of Sweet Home. Linn County Sheriff Bruce Riley says that someone called authorities yesterday morning to report Oliver Mercer of Lebanon was missing in the area of Rocky Top. That's just near Green Peter Reservoir. Riley says Mercer had been missing since Monday morning. Linn County Search and Rescue is looking for the man. No other details are known. Linn County Sheriff's deputies also charged a Sweet Home man for an arson originally reported back in September. According to Sheriff Bruce Riley, deputies arrested 32-year-old Anthony Victor, also known as Lonnie Victor, in connection with a fire that destroyed a shed, an RV, and a vacant home in Crabtree. Police first arrested Victor on October 10th on 3 outstanding warrants for probation violation, and they took him to Linn County Jail. Yesterday, Linn County detectives charged Victor with arson 1, burglary 2, and criminal mischief. Well, monitoring glucose levels for diabetics would be a lot easier with technology being developed at Oregon State University. Brad Ford has the details.
Type 1 diabetes patients, formerly known as juvenile diabetes, can result in the most serious health effects from the disease. Researchers in the OSU College of Engineering have developed a contact lens that tests for changes in glucose levels. It'll then send the information to a pump that delivers insulin and glucagon as necessary. Google has developed a similar lens, but it is not clear like the lens developed at OSU. The next step is developing the communications between the lens and the pump. They don't have a timeline for when it might be available. Brad Ford, KPNW.
This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Game 6, a must-win for the Chicago Cubs on the road, World Series. Good time for the Cubby bats to come alive. Chicago got all the runs they would need by the 3rd inning as Addison Russell tied a World Series record 6 RBIs, including the first Grand Slam, if you can believe it, by a shortstop. 22-year-old, the second youngest to hit a Grand Slam in a World Series. Mickey Mantle, a bit younger, back in 1953. Cubs force a Game 7 with the 9-3 win at Progressive tonight. Cleveland sends up former Eugene Emerald Corey Kluber to the mound to try to win it for the Tribe. Going for Cubbies, but I wouldn't mind seeing Corey do well. NBA, Steph Curry and the Golden State All-Stars came into Portland, went strong on defense, although Damian Lillard bring up 31. Steph Curry, 5 points in the first half. He finished with 28. Kevin Durant contributed 20. Warriors ran away with it over the Blazers, 127-104. Prep girls soccer 6A playoffs. 4-seeded Sheldon moves on to the quarters after a 2-0 win over Lincoln. They'll play Sunset at home on Saturday. Marist girls did not fare as well. They lost to Silverton 1-0 in a bit of an upset in 5A playoffs. North Eugene, the Lady Highlanders continue in 5A after they come away with a 3-2 win. Churchill falls to Bend 3-1. Summit destroyed Thurston 13-0. Pleasant Hill got their fifth straight shutout win, 7-0 over Portland Christian. Chris Boucher and the Oregon Ducks men's basketball team on the cover of SI for their college basketball issue. They also have a number 4 ranking to go along with it from SI. The issue, by the way, comes out tomorrow. Former Duck Josh Huff, now a professional with the Philadelphia Eagles, got pulled over for speeding. He had pot and a gun in his car. On a brighter note, Pac-12 honors Edward Cheserek, Men's Athlete of the Year, after he won his 4th consecutive Pac-12 individual title. Katie Rainsberger selected as Freshman of the Year for the Ducks. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Max Muscle. Where's your finish line? Set a goal, make a plan, get results. Max Muscle on Franklin, across from Market of Choice. News time 8:22.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, conditions aren't that bad. We've got partly to mostly cloudy skies, temps in the upper 40s to low 50s, light winds out of the southeast at 5 to 10. We're going to see the partly cloudy skies become mostly cloudy late this afternoon as the next storm system starts to move in. Highs will be in the upper 50s to low 60s. Winds will shift south at 5 to 10, but there's about an 80 to 90% chance of isolated showers moving in between 8 and 10 p.m. this evening. The good news is it's a fast-moving system. While it will bring showers overnight, they'll clear out quickly by morning. Now, for Thursday and Friday, we are looking at mostly sunny skies as high pressure moves in from California, but we could see some fairly dense fog both of those mornings that won't burn off till the early afternoon. Then as we move towards your weekend, another storm system rolls in for showers most of the day Saturday into Sunday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
When you need foundation repairs, turn to the foundation experts at Ramjack West. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Serving Oregon and Washington. Choose Ramjack. CCB 146906.
If you're serious about getting the right stove or fireplace for your home, place Midgley's at the top of your list. Midgley's is your exclusive Lane County dealer for some of the top brands on the market today, including Lopi, Yodel, Avalon, Valor, Town & Country, Blaze King, and Fireplace Extraordinaire. Check us out online at midgeleys.com. We're at the corner of 7th and Chambers in Eugene. Midgley's. Anywhere else and you're just playing with fire. CCB 161946.
Sitting down, reaching out, listening. There's not much of that in politics anymore. But that's what Arnie Roblin's always done. As co-speaker of the Oregon House, Arnie led a bipartisan coalition to close a $3.5 billion budget shortfall. In the state Senate, Arnie Roblin keeps bringing people together to increase education funding to $7.4 billion and support Project Independence so more seniors can get the home care they need. The Register Guard endorsed Arnie Roblin, saying he has an unmatched record of working with a broad range of people to better the lives of coastal residents. But what about Republican Dick Anderson? As Lincoln City Mayor, Anderson bullied his neighbors by trying to forcibly annex their houses. Dick Anderson opposed increasing the minimum wage, and Dick Anderson was against paid sick days for Oregon workers. The difference is clear. A bridge builder or a bully. Who do we want in Salem?
Paid for by friends of Arnie Roblin.
You've heard me talk about glutamine and how important it is for your body. It repairs every cell in the human body, giving you overall optimal health. It's odorless, tasteless, and flavorless. Stop by, give it a try. You won't taste a thing. Max Muscle, Franklin Boulevard in Eugene.
I want to thank my mommy for loving me so much, for taking me out to the park, for reading me books, for taking
me to the doctor when I broke my foot in ballet rehearsal,
for leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone. And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear Mom, for having the chance to take you to the park, for reading you those books we enjoy so much, for being able to take you to your therapies after you twisted your ankle, for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing. And in your new role, we help you help. Visit aarp.org/caregiving to get practical health and wellness tips to provide even better care for your loved one. Remember, visit aarp.org/caregiving. AARP. We help you help. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I wish I could remember what science fiction novel it was, or actually it was a science fiction movie, where it took place way in the future, and humans had evolved to the point where essentially they were just giant heads, and the rest of their bodies were like these little flippers. And they were kind of in these like little chair things that they would just mentally make go wherever they wanted to.
Was it black and white?
No. No, it was colored. I wish I could remember what the movie was, because I think that they were probably onto something, but instead of being in little chairs that they were moving around by telekinesis, they would be beds from Sleep Train. They would be comfortable beds from Sleep Train. So they could have their adjustable base, so they could raise their little flipper body up, so they could kind of look around at stuff and use their intense concentration to do whatever telekinetically they would be doing, but they would do it in comfort on, say, a Tempur-Pedic, or maybe a Stearns & Foster, or a Beauty Rest. Those giant heads with their little flippers rolling around in the future on their adjustable base from Sleep Train. I think that would be an absolutely phenomenal update to a bad sci-fi movie that I cannot remember the name of.
Snuggle into the season
with your flippers
at Sleep Train's Mattress Price War Sale. You'll save up to $600 on Tempur-Pedic and up to $400 on Beauty Rest and Posturepedic. Plus, get up to 4 years interest-free financing. Even get a queen-size pillow top mattress set for just $399. Are you kidding me? Rush today to Sleep Train's Mattress Price War Sale going on right now in Eugene, Springfield, Corvallis, and Salem. And tell them you're like this. Oh, like this with the wake-up call.
Broadcasting for the betterment of Western Oregon.
Yeah, at least that's what we tell the FCC.
It's the wake-up call coming at you on 1120 KPNW.
828. Cops and law enforcement types must just dread Halloween, because it pretty much gives you license to dress up and cover your face. I mean, how many times over the weekend and on Monday did I see people with completely covered costumes? I mean, they were completely covered from head to toe. You couldn't even see a face or anything in there. And it is
for some, it would be an improvement,
right? Absolutely.
Raising
but you
my
got
hand.
law enforcement. You can dress up as a cop. Here is one good thing that happens during Halloween, and it might prompt a completely new security system. And if you are either in the business or thinking now with this idea getting into security, you're welcome. A guy tried to break into a house in Florida on Sunday, but as soon as he got by the life-size Bride of Dracula decoration, the motion sensor went off and started glowing and saying "welcome" over and over, and let out an evil laugh. Freaked the would-be robber completely, to the point that he got so scared that he got the heck out of Dodge, and the woman's doorbell camera caught the entire thing on video, and the cops were able to track the guy down. So instead of having like light or any kind of alarm system, you just have a Bride of Dracula, life-size, censored, where it goes off if somebody... It's brilliant. I bet she keeps it up all year long.
I would.
Heck yeah.
It's a lot cheaper than the ADT.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. You can have a sticker, signs up that say this house is protected by, artificial tree, whatever.
By the way, can we change trick-or-treating
to what, panhandling? To what it really is?
Friday and Saturdays.
Oh.
To see kids walking around.
Well, you see, okay.
4 or 5-year-olds
right.
at 8, 9, 10 o'clock.
Okay, so.
By the way, if you trick-or-treated after 9 o'clock, shame on you.
All right, so here's the deal.
That's late.
If you want to get, Halloween attached to a specific day of the week, you have to get a union involved. If you don't have a union involved, you're not going to get it attached to a particular day.
And lobbyists.
No, it's just going to take.
Got to get some lobbyists.
No, the lobbyists don't make any difference. Well, they're going to have to be union lobbyists. All right, it's like, for instance, President's Day always falls on a Monday. Columbus Day always falls on a Monday. I mean, you can go through the list here of all the holidays that have to fall on a Monday so that, your federal workers get the day off. And it's a union thing. So what you're going to have to get somehow is like, say, the SEIU or AFSCME or NAFTA, or not NAFTA, the NLRB, the National Labor Relations Board, AFTRA, what is the actors?
SAG.
SAG. You're going to have to get them involved in it to go out there and say, look, this Halloween must fall on Friday so federal workers can go into the weekend with a sugar high or something. That's the only way you're going to get that change.
Productivity, I'm sure, was crushed on Tuesday because people were coming out of their coma and just felt dead to the world. KPNW, do you have an addendum to our idea? Or no?
Hello?
Yeah, hi.
Hey, hello there, newsroom. Hey, I've been trying to call you for over 2 weeks. I just want to give you a big shout out. You do a great job. We're listening to you right now. But all the stuff on the election, 97, doesn't make any difference what you talk about. You're doing a great job, so keep it up, okay?
Why doesn't it make a difference?
What's that?
Why does it not make a difference?
Why doesn't it make a difference? It is making a difference.
Oh, okay. So I'm just curious, are you like broadcasting from a cave, a basement, or a warehouse?
No, I'm standing in my utility room, but I didn't go over and shut the radio down because I've been trying to call
for 2 weeks straight.
And the newsroom is busy. And I just wanted to tell you, we listen to you every day, and you're very fair. Your dissection of 97 is right on. I'm a school board member, been there for 30 years, and I'm right in your camp.
So, as a school board member, because, let's see, earlier this week, I know the Eugene 4J School District came out in favor of 97. As a school board member, as you look at it, I mean, why is it as a school board member, do you say, no, I'm against this, even though supposedly it means that you would be getting more money?
Yeah, well, I don't even know. Am I on the radio? I wasn't expecting that, but all I can say is that the law is written poorly. There's no dedication to senior youth services or education. They can spend it how they want to. Right. They can throw $3 billion into the education side and suck it out on the other side. We have it's a deeper issue than what sales tax, gross receipt tax, or whatever you want to call it. It's really reform of some of the measures for insurance that public employees get as well as the PERS. I'll just say it right out. We have a real challenge, and there's no guarantee it's going to come. Our governor didn't support it, and then she got on board, but it's loosely written. It's a poor bill, and other reforms have to go down the road because it's all going to get eaten up in a lot of different issues. I would say with some of the benefits, and I'm for all that, but there has to be reform, and I really think there's reform that could be done.
All right.
Well said.
Thank you. Appreciate your call.
Thanks, buddy. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening. He has a huge utility room. That utility room must be cavernous.
Must be rough.
Yeah. Having, a utility room is
I have a utility closet, basically.
Most people's homes.
Yeah. All right, hey, we got a break. 8:35, the Radio Redux crew, and they come bearing gifts in the form of tickets. So we'll be hooking you up coming up.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are moving lower with the S&P 500 seeing its longest slump in 5 years. Investors are bracing for a week of events that could set the tone on equity markets for the rest of the year, including next week's election and today's Federal Reserve decision. Anthem said it may join other major health insurers in largely pulling out of Obamacare's markets in 2018 if its financial results under the program don't improve next year. Anthem retreating from the Affordable Care Act would mean that almost all of the major American for-profit health insurers have substantially pulled back from the law. American consumers are putting more Nutella on toast and less on ice cream, and now the federal government may change its view on the treat. The FDA is looking into reducing Nutella's serving size to 1 tablespoon from 2 because Americans are now using the chocolate hazelnut spread on bread instead of mostly dolloping it on desserts. That would effectively cut in half the fat and calories consumers see on the label. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg.
Fire? Ice? Hot? Cold? Why compromise your home comfort? Resolve your heating and cooling issues by contacting Pacific Air Comfort, your local Carrier factory authorized dealer. Turn to the experts to listen to your concerns and analyze why you are uncomfortable in your own home. Their professional staff will explain their good, better, and best solutions, allowing you a solution with quality Carrier products fitting within your budget. Pacific Air Comfort, quality system design, quality Carrier equipment, quality installation, and outstanding 24/7 service and repairs. Visit PacificAirComfort.com. That's PacificAirComfort.com. Or call 541-342-5300. That's 541-342-5300 to receive Pacific Air Comfort's award-winning service today.
When you need painting, you want the best. Fitzpatrick Painting. Don't settle for less.
Specializing in house repaints, interior and exterior, and commercial buildings, Fitzpatrick Painting also provides a full line of carpentry services and so much more. Experience the difference. Find them at fitzpatrickpainting.com for your free estimate and more information.
Fitzpatrick Painting. Unsurpassed in customer service and quality.
It's never been easier to save money. Just head to KPNW.com and click Oregon E-Deals and save on items like ceramic tile supply, Hunter Brake, and Affair with Flowers. Just head to KPNW.com and click Oregon E-Deals.
I'm hooked on Oregon E-Deals.com. I'm saving big.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job. It's such a hassle, the searching, the sorting through resumes. Most people don't have the right experience.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. Right from the start, you could tell it was going to make hiring a lot easier. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them. Thumbs up if I liked them, thumbs down if I didn't. No emails and attachments, printing up docs, phone calls, none of that.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I had the person we needed within 1 week. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just 1 click away from 100+ job sites. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial. ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. We've got partly to mostly cloudy skies out there right now. We did see some very light rain overnight, but not much accumulation. Temps right now are in the mid-40s to a couple of low 50s. Wind southeast at 5 to 10. This afternoon, we'll see the partly cloudy skies become mostly cloudy as the next storm system starts to approach the area this afternoon. First, we'll see the warm front spread in. Then we'll see the actual cold front arrive with the showers around 8 o'clock tonight. Looking at about 1/4 of an inch, but it is a fast-moving system. Otherwise, this afternoon, highs will be in the upper 50s to low 60s. Winds will shift to the south at 5 to 10. 7 with a few gusts up to 15. Now, as we move into your Thursday and Friday, the storm system will be gone. It'll be replaced by dense fog both of those mornings, but by the afternoons, high pressure coming up from California will dominate, giving us mostly sunny skies and dry weather. But we are tracking a major storm system set to move in late Friday night, bringing showers most of the day Saturday and into your Sunday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
Give us 15 minutes, and we'll give you something to talk about at work. The Wake Up Call with Holloway in London on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Oh, what a delightful child. You must have a cup of tea.
Oh, yes, indeed. You must have a cup of tea.
I'm awfully sorry if I interrupted your birthday party.
Birthday? My dear child, this is not a birthday party.
And, now, my dear, are you seeking information of some kind?
Oh, yes. You see, I'm looking for
a clean cup. Everybody move down one chair. Move down, clean cup, move down.
But I haven't used this cup.
Clean cup, clean cup.
Would you care for a little more tea, young lady?
Well, I haven't had any yet, so I can't very well take more.
Ah, you mean you can't very well take less?
Less, yes. And now, my dear, something seems to be troubling you. Won't you tell us all about it?
Yes, start at the beginning.
Oh, yes, and when you come to the end, stop.
Radio Redux returns to the Holt Center this weekend for Alice, a production influenced by the novel written by Lewis Carroll back in 1865. Redux founder Fred Crafts and the star Jane Brinkley joins us in studio. Welcome in, you two.
Good morning.
Jane, let's start with you because we've had Fred on before.
Sure.
Yeah, we don't care about Fred.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. What do we need to know about you? Yeah. Besides, you're a freshman at South Eugene.
Yeah, I've been doing theater since as long as I can remember, and this is my 4th show with Radio Redux. Most recently, I was Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. And I'm really excited to be playing Alice because it's one of my favorite characters in literature. Yeah.
Are you afraid of getting typecast as youthful characters with Redux?
I have had that problem, not just in Redux, but because I'm pretty young looking, I'm oftentimes played as like the young, innocent little girl. But Alice has some spunk, so it's okay. It's a challenging role.
And how did you prepare for the character?
Oh, let's see. I've read the book. In fact, I've read the book and all the sequels by Lewis Carroll, so I have done my studying. You know, I'm totally prepared. Other than that, I don't really know.
Any method acting to get into the character?
Yeah, I drank lots of tea, you know. I'm a tea drinker.
Any particular type? Is it just like orange pico, or are you a peppermint, licorice?
I like peppermint.
Yeah.
Peppermint tea, it's good. It's good for the voice, too. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. What is this something that you want to do for like a career? You want to?
Yeah, I'm very interested in acting and singing, and I do stuff all over the community. I would really love to do theater as a career, and hanging out with all of the really experienced actors who do Radio Redux. You know, all of them have been around in Eugene for years and years doing productions.
They're ancient.
Right. Sure.
You weren't supposed to agree with that. 'Cause you might be listening.
Right. You know, it's very inspiring to see how their careers have flourished, and so that is, you know, really helping me to feel more confident about my career in acting. So,
very diplomatic answer there. Yeah.
Thanks.
Would you say that the troublemaker on the cast is Bill Barrett?
I'd actually say maybe Achilles. Wait till you hear his Cheshire Cat. It's very, very creative. Yeah.
and say his first and last name.
What is it?
Achilles Basajos.
Right.
It's like the best name ever.
Yeah, it's a great name. Good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is that why you cast him, Fred, or does he actually have some skill and talent?
Just for his name, of course. Right.
Okay, so Fred, if somebody is a fan of the Lewis Carroll classic can you believe this was, I mean, you think about it, was written in 1865.
Right.
Is amazing. But will the fan of the classic come away satisfied?
Well, I hope so. That's why we're doing it. And I think that they'll enjoy our take on it. It's a Lux Radio Theater production from 1951. Has some songs in it. It has great characters, all the iconic characters. It's, of course, trimmed down to an hour, so it's not a huge show and doesn't have all the scenes. And I think it's family-friendly. I think young people will enjoy it as well as old people. It's a great story. And you mentioned 1865. You know, it's been a bestseller, basically, since then. It started out, sold out its first run of the novel, about 2,000 copies, and just went gangbusters after that, and all the sequels, so forth, made into movies and stage plays and comic books and just about everything. It's an incredible adventure that Lewis Carroll takes us on.
He was a photographer, he was a mathematician, an English writer. I mean, he was multifaceted, and What else? Is there anything else, Fred, that stands out when you think of Lewis Carroll or Charles?
Just think of his imagination and the things that he came up with, and the way he tells the story is so inventive. And then he slips in these goofy poems along the way towards Brillig and the Slivy Toad, and he creates in a whole language of things. The images, I think the whole bit that he did is just incredible. I wish we had somebody there who was at the time and got it all down about exactly how he did all of this. I mean, there are suspicions.
Laudanum, a little bit of opium, a couple of things that might have been part of it.
There are these suspicions, yes.
Well, legend has it that he was sitting in a canoe with his friend's daughter named Alice, and he just came up with this fantastical tale about her life. That's what I've heard.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the story. That's the backstory of how this happened. He had a friend who were out on a boating excursion with the 3 young daughters of a friend of theirs at the college, and he started telling this story. And it started out much shorter than it was. But Alice really encouraged him to tell more story. So he wrote it and extended it. And
which is kind of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The whole thing behind that, the author of it was telling it as this bedtime story, and it just sort of became something completely, epic, much like this. I mean, it's a matter of storytelling and imagination, which is in and of itself kind of cool.
And this is a perfect story for Radio Redux to be doing, because we are theater of the mind, theater of the imagination. So I think that this is a great coupling for us, because we're not going to present the characters in big costumes or anything like that, but you use your imagination through the sounds, the voices, and the music and the sound effects that we give you to depict this story. So we sort of walk the same walk that Lewis Carroll did.
I'm kind of curious, Jane, do you get to sing in this?
Yeah. I do have my own song, and then there's quite a lot of...
You have your own song?
Yes, my very own song, and then there are a lot of other more classic songs like that you might recognize from the 1950s movie, like A Very Merry Unbirthday, the Tweedledum and Tweedledee song about the poor oysters who were eaten by the walrus and his friends, all of those good ones. And yeah, it's really fun. It's all of these songs that you might recognize, especially if you're a younger kid who's seen the movie.
Are you required to sing a cappella, or do you actually
No,
have
we
a
have
little bit of a band
accompaniment.
behind
Yeah,
you?
we have a great piano player who is going to accompany us. And
Would that be Mr.
sounds good.
Greenwood?
Yes, right. Yeah.
Mr. Greenwood.
Jim Greenwood, one of the great
name.
musicians in our community,
Yeah.
who's been doing it for so long. I'll tell you one song we won't have when we talked about the experiences that Lewis Carroll may have gone through to write this thing. We will not be doing the White Rabbit song by Jefferson Airplane.
Dating yourself there a little bit, are we, Fred?
Yeah.
Hey, at least he's dating.
Yeah.
Right?
A good point.
And you have kind of a cool package deal. If people want to buy kind of a group amount of tickets, there's a little discount?
Well, there are discounts for groups of 8 or more. That's for one way to do it. Or if you wanted to buy a group of our entire season, we have 4 shows left, and we do have a season ticket discounted, so you actually get 4 shows for the price of 3. So that's going on during this show, and then we'll drop it down to the remaining shows after that. And tickets are starting at $15, which we think is very reasonable for the family, and go up from there.
We know Alice, of course, is what we're talking about today, but do you mind sharing what the other productions are going to be?
Well, we're going to be doing Alice in Wonderland this time, and then Christmas time is called a Cowboy Christmas, and then for around Valentine's Day, we'll do the Maltese Falcon, and we'll end up our season with the War of the Worlds.
Yeah, there's nothing like a good love story like the Maltese Falcon that just screams Valentine's Day. You know what I mean? That's a good choice for Valentine's Day there, Fred.
Thank you very much. We'll put you on our marketing committee and just square us away next time.
Sure. Are you doing the pre-show this little symposium like you've done on other Radio Reduxes for Alice?
We do a pre-show talk. That's 45 minutes before the show, and it's done by Patrick Lucanio, who has been a professor at the University of Oregon, Western Oregon, LCC, and so forth. And he just he writes about radio, television, movies, and is a great talker, and shows goofy pictures and so forth. It's a great time. And so that's for free. Anybody can go to that, and that's for a half hour before the show, and then you have time to get into the theater from there. So it's a great way to get a background about what we're going to be doing, as well as because he often brings in lots of things that we're not doing because he just kind of goes all over the place.
Makes sense. All right, so it is going to be coming up this Friday, 7:30, and then you have a matinee on Sunday.
What happened to the Saturday show?
Yeah.
Well, at this time, we're not going to do the Saturday show. An honest answer to that is it's a marketing question whether we can fill the place, because that's a big hall. That's 500 seats in that hall, and we don't like to have empty seats in there because it feels kind of weird. So we have to think about whether we can do that. Now, we may have made a mistake, right, because I think the response to the show has been extraordinary, and we have a lot of people wanting to come. We're getting down close to the sellout stage, so maybe we should have added one, but it's too late. But we'll do 3 shows for the next 3 shows.
Let's do a pair of tickets right now for Radio Redux. I'm thinking you would know a Redux trivia question that we could ask out there for the winner. What do you think?
What was
not necessarily it could be Alice, but maybe Redux oriented.
Oh, Radio Redux oriented.
Maybe. I mean, it's up to you. I'm giving you the reins.
What about who founded Radio Redux?
Ooh, that's a tough one. It's tough.
You guys know?
I know.
I think it's Jane.
A little too young.
541-485 KPNW 888 KPNW 888.
Just take credit for it.
You want to take a guess and maybe make the gentleman in studio feel important and validated, then you would want to call and get the tickets right now. These are good for either the Friday night show or the Sunday matinee. 541-485 KPNW. Was there anything that we missed that you absolutely positively wanted to cover?
Well, I want to tell everybody that Jane is an absolutely fabulous young actress, and they should really come see her. She carries the show. I mean, she has about 6 times more lines than anybody else, and she does a wonderful job. And I think oldsters and youngsters alike will really enjoy seeing her performance.
Well,
It's
thank
fabulous.
you. But Fred is very modest. You know, he has created this wonderful, wonderful program, and we're radio worth watching, and I think that everyone should come see it. It's a great show for the whole family.
See, you need to have her do all the marketing, Fred. You need to step aside, give the marketing to this young lady. She's loquacious, she's vivacious, she knows what she's doing. You need to just step aside, Fred. Let her take over.
That's why we have her involved.
Okay.
She's our future.
All right. Jane, it was a pleasure to meet you this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Absolutely.
Before we go, let's give away some tickets. KPNW, do you have an answer? Who is the creator and founder of Radio Redux? Hello?
Hello.
Phone working?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
now.
Sorry, bad cell phone. Fred Krause.
Wow, go figure. It's Fred. Who would have known?
And who are you?
I'm Shiloh.
Silo. Okay, we got a pair of tickets for Friday or the Sunday matinee. Hang on, we need some information from you.
Yay!
Holt Center, Friday night, 7:30, Sunday, 2 p.m. Get your tickets before they sell out, and of course, afterwards, hang out, and you'll actually get a chance to meet and hang out with Miss Jane, right?
Sure.
Autographs, photos?
Right, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Good deal.
Fred, thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you very much for having us. Well, it's always a pleasure to see you guys.
Yeah.
We got more tickets for a bunch of things coming
Yeah,
out
thanks for having us.
later in the week, but that's it for us. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow, 6:05, right here.
Sitting down, reaching out, listening. There's not much of that in politics anymore. But that's what Arnie Roblin's always done. As co-speaker of the Oregon House, Arnie led a bipartisan coalition to close a $3.5 billion budget shortfall. In the state Senate, Arnie Roblin keeps bringing people together to increase education funding to $7.4 billion and support Project Independence so more seniors can get the home care they need. The Register Guard endorsed Arnie Roblin, saying he has an unmatched record of working with a broad range of people to better the lives of coastal residents. But what about Republican Dick Anderson? As Lincoln City Mayor, Anderson bullied his neighbors by trying to forcibly annex their houses. Dick Anderson opposed increasing the minimum wage. And Dick Anderson was against paid sick days for Oregon workers. The difference is clear. A bridge builder or a bully. Who do we want in Salem?
Paid for by friends of Arnie Roblin.
It's time for Discount Windows Win-Win Sale, Lee.
I remember that one, Vic. Customers win by receiving 10% off our professional installation, and we win by keeping our install team busy all year long.
That's right, Lee. Folks, at Discount Windows, get 10% off your window installation booked through the end of January.
10% off our already competitive install prices. That really is a sweet deal.
Discount Windows carries energy-rated windows that may be eligible for a rebate from your utility company.
We're doing our part to help lower your monthly utility bills.
Don't miss Discount Windows Win-Win Sale.
Hurry win!
Don't miss Discount Windows Win-Win Sale. Highway 99, Junction City. Open 7 days a week. Only Flyjet windows are eligible for 10% off installation. See store for details.
Discount Windows. We do windows,
doors,
and installation for less.
CCB 180018.
Hello there, and welcome to the exciting world of
Holloway in London and the Wake Up Call. News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Tower funding is not available in all states. Timing of funding varies case by case. Callers must be represented by an attorney. Repayment and fees apply upon case settlement.
I was in an accident and couldn't pay my bills. I called Tower Funding and got a cash advance on my case.
I tried to go back to work, but I couldn't. I needed some cash.
There's no credit check, and if I lost my case, I owe nothing.
Have you been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault? Do you have a bad drug or personal injury case? We can get you a cash advance on your case in as little as 72 hours. There's no risk or obligation to repay unless you win or settle.
I couldn't wait any longer for some money, and if I lost my case, I owed nothing, not one penny.
Call now. There's no credit check, and you only repay if you win or settle. Get a cash advance on your legal case in as little as 72 hours. Call 800-998-1033. 800-998-1033. 800-998-1033. 800-998-1033.
Let's say you have plans for the perfect camping trip with your son and daughter, but even if your gear ends up on the highway, then your campground is near a beehive. It can still be the perfect trip, because kids don't always see things the way you see them.
Best trip ever, Dad!
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, conditions aren't that bad. We've got partly to mostly cloudy skies, temps in the upper 40s to low 50s, light winds out of the southeast at 5 to 10. We're going to see the partly cloudy skies become mostly cloudy late this afternoon as the next storm system starts to move in. Highs will be in the upper 50s to low 60s. Winds will shift south at 5 to 10, but there is about an 80 to 90% chance of isolated showers moving in between 8 and 10 p.m. this evening. The good news is it's a fast-moving system. While it will bring showers overnight, they'll clear out quickly by morning. Now, for Thursday and Friday, we are looking at mostly sunny skies as high pressure moves in from California, but we could see some fairly dense fog both of those mornings that won't burn off till the early afternoon. Then as we move towards your weekend, another storm system rolls in for showers most of the day Saturday into Sunday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic day.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are lower this Wednesday. Investors are watching earnings, including Facebook, which reports financial results after the close of regular trading today. Investors will likely see sales growth above 50% for the fourth straight quarter on a year-over-year basis. Office Depot rallying after moving to generate more cash by selling off money-losing foreign divisions and speeding up store closings. The retail chain is trying to rebound from a failed merger with Staples. The biggest fuel pipeline may resume service on its gasoline line Saturday after an explosion and fire in Alabama sent futures surging and traders scrambling to supply East Coast states with fuel. Colonial Pipeline carries gasoline and other refined products from Houston to New Jersey. Microsoft said a computer hacking group that has previously targeted government agencies attacked its Windows software and Adobe Systems Flash program. The company will release a security patch for its operating system on November 8th. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield, U.S.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. The man accused of ambushing two Iowa police officers, killing them in their patrol cars early today, is now in custody. One was a Des Moines officer, the other from nearby Urbandale.
Des Moines is not a big city.
we all know each other. So, I mean, we're heartbroken. I mean, I don't know how else to put it.
Des Moines Police Sergeant Paul Parazak. Another briefing's being held at this hour on the capture of suspect Scott Michael Green, who does have a criminal past, but no word yet on a specific motive.
I know that this is a time of particular tension and mistrust between law enforcement and many communities.
But U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch saying a short time ago there is no message in murder. Donald Trump tweeting prayers for the officers' families and that an attack on those who keep us safe is an attack on us all. Hillary Clinton's campaign canceling a Get Out the Vote event in Iowa because of the killings. She heads west today to Arizona and Nevada. Trump holds 3 rallies in Florida. More hacked Clinton campaign emails have just been made public. Fox Radio's John Decker live at the White House.
A possible conflict of interest exposed in the latest Clinton campaign emails released by WikiLeaks. In May of last year, Peter Kadzik, the Assistant Attorney General, gave Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta a heads up that there was about to be a congressional hearing where a senior justice official would likely get questions about the Clinton email scandal. The warning to Podesta came from Kadzik's private Gmail account rather than from his official government email address. Kadzik last week was chosen to head up a thorough review of the FBI's renewed investigation into Clinton's use of a private email server. Lisa?
Meantime, John, the Trump University lawsuit, in that the plaintiffs now arguing comments he's made while campaigning should be admissible at the trial. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Want to invest but don't know what to do? In search of fixed double-digit rates immune to currency, real estate, and stocks? Discover the alternative asset Barron's Magazine describes as lucrative and safe. An investment immune to Fed manipulation and low interest rates. Request a prospectus guide. Call Cornerstone at 800-222-INFO. 800-222-INFO. That's 800-222-INFO.
If you are behind on your bills, then this message is for you. How would you like to have a large portion of your credit card debt or medical bills forgiven? National Credit Card Relief would like to give you free information on a proven debt forgiveness program. It's not bankruptcy, it's not consolidation. This special program actually wipes clean the portion of your debt that is forgiven. Call for your free forgiveness information now. 800-719-2090. That's 800-719-2090. Don't wait. Call 800-719-2090.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Deb Carson.
Cubs force a Game 7 in the World Series. Addison Russell, in fact, tying a World Series record 6 RBI.
Russell drives one in the air. Deep left center. That's back near the wall. It's got a chance. Grand slam. Grand slam, Addison Russell. Cubs lead 7-0.
It also had a 2-run double earlier in the game. Cubs beat the Indians 9-3 in Game 6. Game 7 tonight, 8 Eastern in Cleveland on Fox TV. College football, 23rd ranked Western Michigan rolled Ball State 52-20. Broncos are still undefeated at 9-0. College football playoff rankings of the season. The first ones were released Tuesday night. Alabama number 1, followed by Clemson at 2, Michigan at 3. And despite having one loss, Texas A&M is number 4, a spot ahead of undefeated 5th-ranked Washington. I'm Deb Carson.
We are Fox Sports.
I'm Isaac Jackson at Jackson Jones Law Office. At our office, we represent people who have lost everything because of someone else's bad judgment. When someone takes something close to you, your health or a loved one, the right lawyer can help you walk through the stress, get the medical bills paid, and if needed, stand up and fight on your behalf. Our philosophy is simple. We start by meeting with you to give you a straightforward assessment of your case. Once that's done, we'll talk about what it means to hire a lawyer, whether it makes sense to try to get a settlement without a lawsuit, or whether we think it will take a fight. Our office specializes in wrongful death cases, accidents involving drunk drivers, and victims in violent car accidents. We want to help you move on, but if we need to, we will stand up and we'll fight for you. Call me, Isaac Jackson, at 541-556-9797. Let's have a conversation. At Jackson Jones Law, we understand that everything can change in a second. If that's you, let us help you walk through this difficult time. Again, call me, Isaac Jackson, at 556-9797 at Jackson Jones Law.
To get to the truth, you need the facts, especially when you're shopping for a new car like the 2016 BMW X1. It's a fact that the X1 has 9.9 more cubic feet of rear cargo space than the Mercedes-Benz GLA 250 4MATIC and 10.4 cubic feet more than the Audi Q3 2.0 T Quattro. Hurry in and test drive the X1 today. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Based on BMW X1 xDrive 28i versus Mercedes-Benz GLA 250 4MATIC and Audi Q3 2.0 T Quattro.
Tune in to Real Estate Today, weekdays at 5:30 p.m.
I'm Bob Nelson, real estate investment broker and exchange specialist. Cascade Exchange Services is my choice for completing tax-deferred exchanges. Megan McMahon, who's a CPA, is my choice of the person to handle my tax-deferred exchanges. It's a locally owned company. They do business on a nationwide basis, same-day document preparation, and she's always available for free and very excellent consultation. Contact Megan at Cascade Exchange Services.
It's 9:06 and time for Rush. Rush Limbaugh on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Hi, folks. Here we are back at it, El Rushmo and the Excellence in Broadcasting Network, the nation's most listened to radio talk show, the most eagerly anticipated media broadcast each and every day. This one right here. Glad to have you with us. Telephone number 800-282-2882. You want to be on the program. The email address, elrushmo@eibnet.us. Okay, we have panic starting to set in the Democrat Party and in the drive-by media. President Obama is out claiming that people not voting for Hillary, men not voting for Hillary, is due to sexism, and that men need to try to get past that. Well, what was it when men didn't vote for her in 2008? When he opposed her in the primary of the Democrats, that was a sexism then? That men didn't vote for Hillary back in 2008. We also have polling data that is throwing things upside down. Here's one of the biggest reveals in polling data today. We come to find out that, and we mentioned this yesterday, as evidenced by early voting and other research, black turnout, projected black turnout for Hillary Clinton is way down. The enthusiasm African-American voters are showing for Hillary is nowhere near what it was for Obama in either 2008 or 2012. Now, the reason this is important is this. All of these polls from the drive-by media all year up until a week ago, and maybe even up until a couple of days ago, have just assumed a similar African-American turnout in their models as happened in 2008 and 2012. They just assume that blacks will turn out in the same numbers for any Democrat. And that projected turnout has contributed to the huge lead in many of these polls that Hillary has had. Now they're having to rethink this. And it is one of the reasons why the polls are tightening, is because that projected turnout, African-American turnout, has been way amplified beyond what current research shows it will be. Now, that could change between now and Election Day. I'm just giving it a snapshot as of today. In the ABC tracking poll and in the Investors Business Daily poll, there is a stunning bit of information. The Washington Post ABC tracking poll, Trump and Hillary basically tied. I mean, Trump, I think, is up 1 or Hillary's up 1. But when you get into the internals, there are two things. Trump has opened an 8-point lead. It's tied today. The tracking poll for ABC is tied. Trump has opened an 8-point lead in honesty over Hillary Clinton in the ABC poll. And also in the ABC poll, and this has the media freaking, and this has the Democrats freaking, Trump is winning big with women, white women who do not have college degrees. That's a group that turned out in massive numbers for Ronaldus Magnus in 1980. The media is stunned because their belief is that Hillary is going to walk away with every female demographic group, college educated, not college educated, you name it. Trump is winning big with that subset of female voters. That was not factored as well. In fact, in the Investors Business Daily tip poll, the headline is Trump's women problem appears to have disappeared. I think all of this is why Hillary went out yesterday and started screeching about how terrible Trump was with women. And do you know who introduced her? She's brought back Alicia Machado. 3 weeks since that news was made, and she's gone back to the well with Alicia Machado. I think the Hillary tank is empty. I think they've run out of things to say. I think all they've got is that Trump is a misogynist reprobate. And they're panicking because they're seeing women, certain demographic groups of women, flocking to Trump now. I think women are maybe seeing the difference here between crude comments and compromised national security and dishonesty, what have you. Now, it's not to say, this is a quote from the Investors Business Daily poll, it's not to say there isn't a gender gap, there's still a big one. But Trump's support among women has improved 5 points in the past 3 days in the wake of the FBI's stunning announcement that it is looking into a fresh batch of emails relating to Hillary. Oh, reminds me, I got an email question last. I'm so thankful for this. I'm thankful every time somebody shocks me back into reality. You know, you sit here and you do this long enough and you assume that everybody knows the foundational basis of everything you talk about. And I could not be faulted for thinking that everybody listens here regularly is up to speed on what this Hillary email thing's about, and the FBI reopening the case. I got an email last night from somebody with a very simple question. Rush, I still don't understand what this is about. Could you tell me why it's such a big deal? I'd be happy to. Especially now we have more data. I can tell you what this is all about now. It has grown. It used to just be about Hillary Clinton and Obama and whoever else that she was emailing, trafficking in classified information. That's not just what this is about. What this has become about is what has been going on at the Clinton Foundation. The reason Hillary Clinton used that private server was not convenience. The reason Hillary Clinton set up the private server in her basement in her home in Chappaqua was not because she didn't want to go to the hassle of setting up a government account. She set up a private server because she wanted to shield and hide what she was doing as Secretary of State related to her foundation. That should have been nothing. Once she became Secretary of State, she should have essentially the foundation been in the equivalent of a blind trust. But it wasn't. Hillary continued to solicit donations. She had others soliciting donations from foreign governments and foreign leaders while she was Secretary of State to her foundation for the express purpose of selling influence. This is what she's trying to hide. This is what the Democrats are desperately trying to prevent Comey and others from finding and releasing. This is about so much more than simply trafficking in classified data. Were it not for the Clinton Foundation, there probably wouldn't be a Clinton email scandal because James Comey would have wrapped that up with his July press conference. What has happened since the July 5th press conference is that FBI investigators looking at Anthony Weiner have found evidence of nefarious activity of the Clinton re-election team, the Clinton campaign, and the Secretary of State's office coordinating fundraising for the Clinton Foundation, and that has ended up on Anthony Weiner's computer and Huma Abedin's computer. And here's the rub. The FBI agents on the so-called Hillary email classified document team have now asked for permission from Loretta Lynch to see Clinton emails dealing with the foundation, and Loretta Lynch is blocking them. That's what this is all about, and I'm so thankful for the person. It's a friend of mine sent me an email last night. Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General, is blocking the FBI from examining Clinton emails in connection with its investigation of Clinton Foundation. You have heard that there are two investigations, one of Clinton and her classified data emails, and the other of the Clinton Foundation, and they're examining the selling of access. They are examining Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton and Chelsea and anybody else there actually soliciting donations to the foundation and soliciting payments to Bill Clinton to make speeches or to become a consultant while she was Secretary of State. This is an ethical violation that is far beyond anything Richard Nixon even dreamed of. She is selling access while Secretary of State to foreign governments and foreign entities. She is essentially putting herself up for bid. She's putting United States foreign policy out for sale. And there's also an on-the-come aspect of this. Donors are assured that Hillary's going to run for president and that she's likely going to win with that, years ago when this all kicks up. And it's those emails that the Clinton classified email FBI team has run across, and they want to see them. And Loretta Lynch, the Justice Department, is blocking the FBI from examining Clinton emails in connection with its investigation of the foundation. And that investigation is every bit as serious as whatever Hillary was doing, trafficking in classified data on her homebrew server. In fact, Andy McCarthy, looking at this, says that were it not for the Clinton Foundation, there probably wouldn't be a Clinton email scandal, because Comey's already put that to bed. He put that to bed in July. He said, well, yeah, we found these violations, we found these irregularities, but we didn't find any intent. We didn't find any knowledge that Ms. Clinton breaking the law. But that's not the case at all with what has been learned so far about what they were. The Clinton Foundation, Jim Kallstrom, former New York office head of the FBI, was on Fox the other night. They basically called the Clinton Foundation a mafia-like operation, an organized crime operation. And it may well be. I mean, he would know. Kallstrom is the guy who bugged John Gotti's Ravenite Social Club and got the goods on La Cosa Nostra in that regard. It is essential that the FBI's Clinton Foundation investigators get access to all of the thousands of Clinton emails, including emails recovered from the computers of Cheryl Mills and Heather Samuelson and her laptops. The agents must have the time they need to piece together all of this evidence, follow up leads, and make their case. Because everybody knows what's going on here. It's just now a matter of collecting evidence and being able to make the case. So that's really what this email scandal has evolved to. Again, it's about much more than simply Mrs. Clinton as Secretary of State dangerously and haphazardly trafficking in classified data. It has become an investigation into the Clintons leveraging her position as Secretary of State to raise money for their foundation and for them personally, as in personally hired to do speeches or become consultants for companies, in exchange for what? I mean, if the Secretary of State has a foundation and you're soliciting money for it, and you are Ahmed Salib Sahim Skyhook Maktoum from some Middle Eastern oil state, and you're going to, what do you think you're going to get for it? You're buying something. You're not just giving them money because you like them. The Clintons have been selling United States foreign policy, both as Clinton Secretary of State and on the come with Hillary as a potential future president. This is serious, serious stuff. And a lot of people have email fatigue. I'm so sick and tired of hearing about the email. This is actually quite large now, folks. And it's not going away no matter who wins the election. It most certainly is not going away. And you've got some FBI agents who are livid at the Department of Justice shutting them down, trying to find out evidence about this. There are two different U.S. attorneys' offices working on this case.